Welcome to our first Saturday podcast!
Yay!
Fuck off to a busy work week where I haven't been home
Right.
at all. Jesus fuck.
Yeah, we haven't been on because of, work scheduling issues, but that's why we're doing one on Saturday, because we love you guys, kind of.
And maybe a little bit.
I like
Maybe.
attention.
Everybody likes attention
I
though.
like a lot of attention. I'm an attention whore.
Same. I don't get enough attention. That's my
Oh
problem.
my god. Okay,
You get
all right,
so
let's talk.
much
I
attention.
no, I don't. That's the thing.
But
I
you
don't.
feel like you don't get enough
No,
attention.
because it's never an in-person attention thing. It's always,
Before
somebody
we get
willing
onto
to
this-
text me, but or annoy me with fucking phone calls. I love spending in person.
Yes. Before we get onto this, today, of course, you always have Kory and Floy. We run this shit because we're fucking awesome.
Boss bitches.
And we also have Floyd's husband, Kyle, again
Hello.
today.
Just ignore him.
Always.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, it's always. I enjoy having someone else on the podcast. Like me and you, we banter back and forth. Having a third is like that.
It
no,
means
I agree
fuck
with
all.
This person.
It means fuck all. That's
So
what
You
it
just feel like
means.
stay on topic. You're down another rabbit hole.
Right. Yeah, we need to. Yeah, if you're gonna. Yes, like right here. My voice carries really well, so the mic can pick me up easy.
My voice does not, therefore I
Yours
sit
doesn't.
right on the mic.
Yeah. You talk really lightly as well, so the closer you get, it's probably better.
This is true.
Okay, so today we're going to be discussing men's rights and the stigma surrounding them.
Yeah.
Also self-care. And
The importance of spending in-person quality time with the people you love.
Yes.
yeah, that too. But basically, we're going to be discussing just all-around relationships, as well as men's roles in. Oh, hey, look at that! Sonica would like to go. All right, let's see here. Click on that and connect.
Hello and welcome. You're on the air with Just FK. Who do we have?
Waiting for it. Oh, 1 second. 1 second. Let me. There we go. Okay, now you can. Now we can hear you.
Nope, can't hear him.
Can't hear him.
Go ahead and disconnect
Why?
Hello.
because they're not going through on their end. So
Hmm.
go ahead.
Try calling us back when because I'm not sure what's going on. Everything's right on my end.
Disconnect.
All right.
All right, let's get into the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, we'll try that again here in a sec. I'm not sure what's going on, but
I'm going to grab a chair.
yeah. Go ahead and try and call us back.
I
See what's
wouldn't.
wrong.
I wouldn't. Let us get into the topic a little bit.
Oh, okay. I might, if you
No
wanna run
fuck
it,
all
run it.
today. Last
All
podcast
right.
was fuck all. We didn't even
Fuck
upload it.
all. Okay, so men's rights, relationships. All right. So I had a discussion with an awesome guy yesterday, and we were talking about.
He was cute.
He was a good-looking guy. No, he was a good-looking guy. I liked his earrings. I really did. Like, there's a level of dedication you got to take when you're gonna gauge your ears out.
I know my ears hurt like a motherfucker when I gauged them.
I mean, I've got some decent gauges. I'm down. I'm up to a 0, but I don't think I'm ever gonna go that high. But when you go higher than a 0, there is a lot of dedication that you're gonna put into it, care and all that shit. But he was also a very intelligent person.
It's always a good thing.
That's always a good thing. And while we were talking, he did bring up, because he's a black man in
The Bible Belt.
In the Bible Belt, shit's not good. There are a lot of racist motherfuckers where we live. I don't agree with that. I grew up in Denver, Colorado. Yeah, I grew up in Denver, Colorado. You grew up in Texas. Like, that's just it's not a thing.
I grew up here, and I still don't agree with that. So I mean, that's not necessarily where you grew up.
Well, no, it's not where you grew up. It's who raised you. Okay, so he's a black man from a different belt.
Yeah.
Is that like a black belt?
You know, like
Kung Fu
Orion's
master?
belt? Are you from the same galaxy? It's like a Men in Black type situation.
All right, guys.
Okay, all right. Anyway, so as we were talking, he didn't express concern over, finding a significant other in the Bible Belt in an area where there's a lot of people that believe that the races shouldn't mix. Like I've had this fucking conversation with some people. Yeah.
I hate that.
I know. I do
Absolutely
too.
hate
Like
that.
we're all people, but these guys and yeah, exactly. It's not even that we're racist, or I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. It's not even that we're different races. That's what I meant.
We're all human.
We're all people,
Yeah.
and there are some of us, unfortunately, who seem to think that they're less than or more than other people. Yeah. Okay. Like I see this. I see this rather often. Now, I'm not saying the place where we live is a bad place. There's actually a lot of good people, but there's those few bad individuals that are sprinkled throughout, and unfortunately, you run into those motherfuckers more often than the good ones because they're louder than each other or louder than the other people. It's the same as dating. Women are constantly talking about like, oh, I've only dated bad guys that. They've all broken my heart. It's not that all men are bad. It's that you're running into the same motherfucker that's screwing everybody else over too.
Right.
And it's the same thing when it comes down to races. It's not that people are inherently bad. It's that people have been taught throughout their lives that this is bad. And then they go with it. They did a study on some monkeys. And this is true.
I'll find on monkeys.
I'll
fucking
find the
hate
study.
Monkeys.
They
fucking monkeys. Hate them all.
Just let me tell you about the study. Okay, now they wanted to check or study learned behavior. Okay, so what they did is they put a ladder, and at the top of the ladder they put a bunch of bananas, and whenever a monkey would go up the ladder, they would spray it with a water hose.
Oh, I think I've read this study.
And eventually the monkeys wouldn't go up there. Well, then they started to, when a monkey went up the ladder, they would spray all the other monkeys instead of that one monkey, and then the group would beat that monkey, and it was a group ideology, don't touch the fucking bananas or we all get wet. Well, eventually they started pulling monkeys out of the study and replacing it with new monkeys, and of course those monkeys would go up the ladder, and then they would all get sprayed, so they beat that monkey. Well, then they pulled out all the monkeys who originally were in the study, and they would no longer spray him down, but when the monkey would go up the ladder, the group would beat that monkey because it was a learned behavior, and they passed that on to the youth and the new monkeys that were thrown into the study. So eventually, over time, when there was a reason for it, and I'm not saying there was a good reason, there was just someone thought it was a good reason, and they pushed their mindset onto other people through malicious intent. They eventually taught the group to do the same thing. And that's what I feel like a lot of racism is. That it was a very interesting study. I would love to actually find it and cite the source. It's been years since I read it. But I believe that a lot of people who are racist today, they have no reason to be racist.
They were
just taught to be racist.
And it's just kind of passed down through generations.
Right.
Okay, look at.
I mean, nobody has the reason to be racist, but
right. But it's a.
I don't. In cases like my sister, our father was extremely racist. He ran the Klan down where we lived.
Okay.
And so
I can't remember the name of the guy. What's the name of the guy here?
Which one? There's Billy Roper that I fight against often. There's a few one, but okay. So in cases of like my sister,
Tom Robb, yeah, that motherfucker,
mummified looking bastard.
Yeah, that's a guy that lives close to us. I actually had the displeasure of hearing him talk once, and I wanted to kill him. There was a lot of shit that he said I was not comfortable with, and he wasn't even going on the hard shit. He was just like, "This is tantalizing. This is kind of what I feel," and oh man, it made me sick.
All right, so. Like I was trying to.
Right.
Say.
I'm sorry. And yes, if you want to call in here in 5 minutes or so, once Floy has said her piece, will answer the call. I would
So,
like another person in the
and
conversation.
speaking with like racism, like cases of my sister,
Mhm.
not I guess she would be half sister from the knowledge that we have now, but our father was extremely racist, ran the Klan. Of course, he is straight from Germany themselves. Himself, he was born in Germany, came here after World War II.
Mhm.
My entire family is old as fuck, and I'm the youngest of like 7 siblings.
How did you get a mixed family with that background?
Okay, so here's the thing. All of the men on my mom's side, they're all Air Force and all military. So I have a ton of respect for Air Force men. And when they go over, they find wives, they bring the wives back. And that's how we got a lot of the Asian
Okay.
men in my family. Well, Asian women
So
in my
basically,
family.
you just had that old grumpy bastard at parties that was raped. I mean,
No, okay, so I never.
We all know what we're talking about. Okay, there's that one old motherfucker that's like, I fucking hate black people. And you're like, God damn it, Grandpa, shut the fuck up and die.
Well, no,
already.
see, that's the thing. So
Grandpa, take your pills.
I was never raised with my father because my mother took me out of that environment at a very, very young age.
Okay.
So, and on my mom's side, you know, she is very mixed herself. I'm mixed, although according to 23andMe, I'm like literally 68% Irish, which I had no idea. But anyway, so because my father was so racist, it caused my sister to rebel massively. And
your sister, though,
she was raised with my father. I was not. I didn't meet her
Okay.
until I was 18.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. Learned behavior.
Oh yeah. See, she rebelled against that learned behavior because he was so racist. She bucked. One of his friends actually raped her when she was 12. So, and he was part of the Klan and everything like that. So she is now anti-white man. She is so racist against white people, even me at times. It's very hard to understand where she comes from. She's very
hate.
Yes.
Okay, there is hate on both sides, and I know who was it? Okay, so Hayes asked what our take is on police brutality towards her race. Your sister white? I can't remember.
My sister is white. Yes.
Okay. All right. So as far as police brutality goes, let me just say this: I've seen a lot of shit that was uncalled for.
Yeah.
Absolutely a lot of shit.
But police. Here's my take, and I'm probably going to get a little bit of flack of this because I'm looking at it from a very broad perspective here. And it's not so much, yes, there's a lot of racism with police, especially in the South. But overall, I think it is not necessarily a minority issue, but a poor issue. It is very against impoverished people in general.
See, I'm going to say that I think that it's a lack of training.
Oh,
like 100%, it's a lack of training. When you take people who are in the military, okay, who become police officers, those are going to be most of your best policemen are going to be those who were in the military.
Not always,
but most of the best policemen are going to be from the military because they have way more training. You know, especially MPs.
Yeah.
Their job is to police people who are trained. So ultimately, I feel like when we talk about, police brutality, there are a few bad eggs. And I think more often than not, we see the few bad eggs causing most of the problems because those are the ones that are looked at by the media. We don't see the ones by good policemen. The guys who go out and they're with the little kids playing basketball.
Exactly. I was just thinking the same thing.
Those are...
You don't see that. And unfortunately, I think the media is to blame for a good chunk of that.
Right.
Because
I think that there's a lot of
show good shit. I mean, it's always negative.
Yes. Well, see, that's what gets the most views is negative shit.
That's because humans are inherently negative.
Like we have, we don't have a lot of viewers on our show. I would love to get out there. Unfortunately, I do understand that we're a very positive show. We talk about hard shit.
Yes.
Okay.
They know and respect the rules of engagement. Exactly.
Yeah. You're right.
You don't go from a 1 to a 5.
Right. And the other issue that I've seen is that a lot of police officers don't follow through with de-escalation.
No.
Okay, there's a lot of scenarios.
There needs to be more, in my opinion, there needs to be more psychological training.
I love how we title a show and then never follow through with that.
Well, no,
it's
getting to it.
Yeah, I love this conversation. There's actually a lot that I have to say about this.
Yeah. Anyways, police in general need to have more psychological training, and especially brutality is really high for people who are mentally disabled to begin with.
Okay.
That's a huge one. It's not only race, it's like mentally disabled. Like they don't know how to de-escalate,
they don't.
There was teens or young adults with autism, Down syndrome, all of that.
There was a young autistic man, I think he was like 36, was killed at the movie theater because he hadn't paid for a second showing of the movie. So the police officer just went in there and fucking killed the guy.
But see, what happened is you just don't get killed because you were watching a movie. What happened there? That is my main concern. Is the entire story.
What happened was the ushers called the police because the guy wouldn't leave. Okay, it's over $7 The guy actually had a staff member there who was trying to de-escalate the situation and get him outside. If they would have let him do his job, okay,
I remember
they would have not had an issue. But they called the police. The police then put the guy in handcuffs and forced him to the ground and held him there. He's autistic. He's going to struggle.
Yeah.
So they pushed him down harder. They ended up not letting him breathe for too long. He suffocated and died. Instead of de-escalating the situation. And it's very simple. Okay. But we both have experience in this, in de-escalation with people who have mental disabilities.
Well, it's not only people with just mental disability, de-escalation in general.
Overall. But when it comes to the disabled people, and police involvement with them, I'm always scared when police involvement is going to happen with someone who's disabled, because I know that police officers lack the training to handle that.
Yeah.
And they show it. It's not something it's very broad.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a very big problem, but they lack training on this.
Okay. Here's also another view of it. Being anti-military or anti-police is also a major cause, because in a lot of these impoverished areas or minority groups, they're literally taught, and I've seen firsthand, especially within my family. Seen firsthand within my family that it is literally bred from childhood that people need to hate the police, need to buck against the police, need to stand firm against the police. And I think if we just learned to work together on a lot of things, there will be a more of a settlement for sure between the minority groups, between the mentally disabled groups.
I've actually, there is a rule that you can't have an IQ over 110 if you want to be a police officer. And
I can't be a policeman.
like Hayes said, one of his friends didn't get the job of a cop because his IQ was too high. That's very true.
Because they want people they're able to easily mold.
Yes, they want people who are just going to fucking sit down and do as they're told. And they make you a detective instead, but not someone who can enforce the law, someone who knows the law. You know, there's a lot of people who do know what they're talking about, but they can't be cops. For whatever reason, there's always going to be a reason. They don't want people who know the law. They want people who are going to enforce opinion instead. Okay, that's my issue with it. There are some cops who are intelligent, who can enforce the law properly. I'm not saying all cops are bad. As a matter of fact, I really think that
in general, the system is flawed.
I do believe the system is majorly
flawed.
But
it's flawed on both sides. It's flawed because people are taught from childhood to buck the man, to go against the police, to give them a hard time, to deny any. You can see these videos all over of people escalating these situations unnecessarily.
I don't believe in unnecessary escalation.
No.
Now, if you immediately come up to my window, or 1 second,
we have a comment.
Taz has said, I wasn't raised that way. My father was a high-ranked officer in the Sudanese military, and it has a lot of respect for officers. I grew up in the United States and learned to hate cops because most of them are assholes. Now, I will say, I look white.
Cops that are dicks.
I look white. All right, I come from a very mixed family, but I
Yeah.
took mostly after my grandfather.
Yeah, and see, I look very, very white too, but
Right,
also
and you're
coming from
also
a mixed family.
Mixed family. We just took after our
The
parents.
dominant traits.
Yeah, the dominant traits.
Quiet.
Now I look completely separate from my mom. My mom is so dark. She is so pretty.
Right.
She's
You've
got like
seen my
long
mother.
black hair.
Yeah.
And I'm just, my mom has about the same coloration as your mother.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm over here because of my father, you know, being full from Germany, like pasty skin, blonde hair, green eyes,
Yeah.
like the entire works. And I'm just like, where is my tan? I'm not happy about this.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that has probably helped me out in some instances. I could recognize that. I also know that even though I look white, even though I was raised in predominantly, well, I was raised till about 11
Yeah.
years old in the middle class, and my grandfather ended up losing his fortune, and my mother moved out, and I was raised predominantly poor after the age of like 9. And like very poor,
Yeah.
like paycheck to paycheck. We got $100 to last us for 2 weeks. Like we're buying food from the Bittenden, and like I know what it's like to grow up with nothing.
Yeah. Same.
And I know what it's like to be treated like you have nothing.
Yes, very much so.
And I know what's actually important in this world. What's important is the people that you bring into your life. It's not things. Like I can do without things. I can literally give everything up and live a comfortable life without things.
Yeah.
I have things and I work hard because I know that that's how my wife was raised. A very definitely lower middle class. Now she did go through a very long stint of having nothing, but once she got there, that's something that she didn't want.
Didn't they build like that property literally up from nothing though?
They did build. Yeah, they built the property up from nothing. Like everything that they've got, they've worked hard for, and I respect that. I respect the fact that they can work up towards something, and their achievement was they set out to reach a goal and they got it. I respect that. That's why I work hard to make sure that my wife has the things that she wants, but she doesn't want for anything.
Yeah.
You know, she told me, I think like 2 years ago or something, she wanted to switch. So I saved up the money and I got her one because I knew that she wanted it. But she doesn't want things very often. As long as I give her food, she's happy.
Yeah. And you guys have plenty of that.
Yes. But
no.
That is a lot of people have experienced.
yes.
Especially living in the area that we live now, you know, it's 80 to 90% heavily impoverished.
Yes.
It's heavily impoverished to the point, you know, people live in tents, you know, in the woods because they can't afford anything. Like
a lot of them are rich as shit. They just live in a tent in the woods because they like it.
No, I've actually, and this killed me. A few years back, I was down at the park. There was a teenager who was fishing for dinner, living in a fucking tent.
Yeah, you know, but also that looks, you know,
like
not
that,
only the heavy impoverished, you know, in our area, but you know, one thing that gets me so fucking bad is that there's no help in our area for men or for teenage boys who are going through, you know, abuse or traumas or something that needed to get away from home. Like I left home when I was 16 because of the abuse and trauma that I suffered.
I will back that up because I've been through that.
Yeah.
Right. And I've had to call, hey, is there somewhere I can stay? My wife's kicking my ass.
I know your viewpoint on the church. Okay. But I do also know in this area, if you go to the church and you ask for help, 9 times out of 10, they're willing to help.
9 times out of 10, they're not willing, though. That's the thing. Unless you're a member of their congregation that has been long standing, they do not help at all.
That goes against, you know, what I was taught in the church I was raised in. Like, when people came to the door asking for help, you helped them. We would take up offerings
when I was going through my stuff with my...
Here, lean forward and speak
a little louder. When I was going through my stuff, when I went through my second marriage and all of the abuse from my wife and all of that, actually, I was turned down by several churches. And I was literally told, sorry, you're not a member of our congregation. We cannot help you.
And
I even remember one time there was a, and I bring this up a lot.
Then it must be, I must have just been the exception to the
You
rule.
very well
Then
could have been. And I bring this one up a lot because this one really stuck with me. There's a thing around here called Mother's Day Out, and it's like a little thing to help people, to help single parents, single mothers specifically. I found this out to if you just need some time away from your kids for a little bit to go shopping or whatever, they'll watch your kids for free. I called them one day, hey, I'm a single dad, and they cut me off right then and there and said, sorry, we don't help dads.
Same
thing with the shelters.
Up.
Same thing with the shelters.
Yeah,
I remember calling the cops and being like, hey, my wife's kicking my ass.
Yeah.
And they literally told me, if we come out there and she has a mark on her, you're going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And I got off the phone and I took an ass kicking.
That's absolutely fucking insane.
Listen,
that we put our men through that.
There's the law. There's the officers. We don't believe in protecting men because men should be able to protect themselves. But as soon as they defend themselves against someone who is weaker, and I'm using air quotes for those who can't see me, they immediately are like, okay, you're going to jail.
Ooh.
And they just take you. Now, I know we wanted to talk about men's rights. I'm going to throw out a few just truths. Okay, in the United States, there's roughly 2,000 shelters for women across the entire United States. It's 2,000. In the United States, last time I checked, there was 2 for men.
Those are single-digit numbers for men.
Yeah, it is single-digit numbers for sure for men.
And we need to work hard as a society, as a population of the United States to fucking change that, because that is bullshit.
A lot of these, which it is more fucked up when you take into account a lot of these men, they've been to prison. They got out of prison. They were in the military, had a severe PTSD attack. I actually have a friend who was in the military. I'm not going to say what branch. I'm not going to say anything. I will say that he did a lot of dark shit because those were his orders. Okay. He recently had a severe. Yeah. Okay, there's 6.
Oh
6
my fucking god.
Fucking
6.
Yeah, there's 6 shelters in the United States for men.
One of them is in Dallas. Just in case anybody.
Congratulations to Dallas. But anyway, my friend had a severe PTSD attack. He lost himself. We lost him. We couldn't find him for a solid month and a half. I ended up taking care of his son, my godson, for a very long time. And there was a lot of strain trying to find him so that I could help him. He didn't want contact with anyone, didn't want to be talked to by anyone, and he just left. And that hurt me, because he doesn't believe in seeking out help because he considers it weak. Yeah. And that mentality is what initially started it. And I told him several months before it happened, I said, look, I can see it in your eyes. I can see that you're losing yourself. You need to find help. And I know you'll never see a therapist for any reason. I know you'll never seek counseling, but if you need to talk, I'm here. And he still felt that would show weakness in him. I'm not trying to judge him. I'm not trying to get him to show me, that he's weak. I already know that he's weak. We're all weak. That's what makes us strong. We're able to survive even though we are weak. And he still lost himself. He really did lose himself. And I was afraid that I would wake up and he would be in jail because he murdered somebody.
Yeah. And that's so fucked up. Like my Hitler with a pineapple, mm-hmm. He deals with a lot of past trauma and a lot of things. And he doesn't really have a mental support system.
No, he does not.
And he told me the other day that he views our relationship almost like therapy, because he can talk to me and open up to me and talk to me about things that without feeling judged. And everybody needs to have that person in their life, because it is okay to feel vulnerable. Absolutely. It is okay to need to talk to somebody. It is okay to be depressed, and all of those emotions that you're feeling. It's okay. They're okay. Feel. Yeah. You're not weak. We all have those. We each and every person, we all feel depressed, sad, angry, hopeless, happy, You know,
See, we all feel it. There's not a lot of us who understand it. That goes back to the stigma surrounding men that we shouldn't have emotions.
Mhm.
We should be willing to die and sacrifice ourselves for the betterment of all of humanity.
So should women, though.
Right. But see, this is something that's been ingrained in us. That's what we're trained to do from an early age. That's why, it's like, don't cry. Men don't cry. And you tell that to a fucking 4-year-old. Men don't cry. And that's damaging, but it's damaging in a way to prepare them to sacrifice themselves in the future.
And that's such a fucked up viewpoint.
But it's not a viewpoint. That's what we've done for millennia. Okay? Like there was a point in time when it was necessary for the betterment of the species, and it was taught. Okay? There's actually a psychologist that does mention this that I was listening to the other day. I will find it and post it on the Facebook page, Just FK, if you guys aren't following.
It's at Morning Coffee with Just FK.
Okay. But there is a psychologist who goes over this, and this is someone who's very intelligent. She is a doctorate, or she does have a doctorate or a PhD, one of the two. I can't remember which one, but she does know what she's talking about. And I tend to agree with her. Like, look at the Titanic. Okay, let's take that as just an example. All right.
There was enough room for both Jack and her on that.
There was enough. Well, no, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the actual incident. If you look at the people who survived, okay, the majority of them were women and children.
No, the majority of them are of the upper class.
Yes, they were upper class, but the majority of them were women and children. There was a few men who got onto the boat because they were quote unquote cowards.
No, not only cowards. They were the upper class. See,
they were upper
class. That's one thing.
Pay.
It's not so much about against men, like looking from a very pragmatic approach to society. It's definitely in favor of just the upper class, putting them in its importance above everybody else.
Well, yeah, everything's in favor of the upper class. Like a fucking speeding ticket, okay? If I get a speeding ticket, that's literally, okay, let's say I get a speeding ticket for 10 over. That's about a $200 ticket, all right? That's overall 10% of my monthly income, just about. Okay? Now, I'm not including stocks or shares or any of that. I'm talking base pay for my job. That's 10%.
Yeah.
Okay. That fucks with me way more than someone who makes $200,000 a month, because that's just fucking pocket change. They can throw that out there and get it all taken care of.
Yeah.
Now, if you made it to where the law took 10% of your income for that month for the speeding ticket, I think we'd have less speeders driving Lamborghinis.
Probably.
Lamborghinis. Sorry.
Oh, I was saying that if we change the law to instead accrue just a few dollar amount to a percentage of your overall pay for the month, because like a speeding ticket now for 10 over is about $200.
Yeah.
That's about 10% of my monthly income.
Right.
So if we changed it to 10% of your monthly income, then someone like if you had $200,000 a month monthly income, you're now paying $20,000 for a 20 over speed ticket. Yeah, that's exorbitant, but it's hurting us way more than it's hurting them because you're taking a legitimate percentage of our income that we need to survive. It's not that. That's what pisses me off. Okay, when you actually take a step back and you look at the system the way it's set up, there's a huge difference between the lower class and the upper class. And 99% of the wealth is held by 1% of the upper class. Like that's a statistic. I'm sure you all are familiar with it. The issue that I've seen is that when we take $200 from someone who makes $200 a week, we are more or less telling them to starve for an entire week because fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? It's nonsense. There's no reason for it. Change the laws. We have the power to change the laws if we
band together.
Yes, if we band together. In Germany, this is a story. You guys can look it up on the news. Germany hiked the price of gas over like instantly. They just hiked it up to like $10, $13. And once everyone heard about it, they just fucking left their cars in the middle of the street and walked home. Like, they were just like, fuck this shit. They got out of their cars and walked. and immediately gas was lowered.
Uh-huh.
Why? Because the populace rose up. They said, "Fuck you," and they're like, "Oh shit! Like we can't do anything about this unless we bend to their will." Because that's okay. A Bug's Life. Just an example. I know.
Oh god, I love this movie.
Yes.
So let's see where I want to hear
All
where
right.
you're going with this.
In A Bug's Life, you have the grasshoppers constantly taking tribute from the ants. And you guys, I'm sure, are familiar with it. You seem like you're right around, like 90s babies age. But when you watch that, there's a scene in it where the head grasshopper is throwing seeds at his brother, and he throws one, and he's like, "Did that hurt?" And he's like, "No." And then he rips off the fucking lid of the bottle and buries the motherfucker under seeds. He said, "One won't hurt you, but all of them will."
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see. Ace says the system is set up to keep the wealthy wealthy, the poor poor, and the Caucasians against the minorities, so that the power stays in the hands of the purebred. Yeah.
No, I don't necessarily believe in purebred at all because we're all fucking mixed.
That's why it's under quotation
Yeah.
marks. It's because you don't believe it. They
Fuck
believe
no.
it. Okay.
Nobody, not one person on this planet is purebred. They
No,
can all fuck.
no.
No.
There's a lot to think that.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Look at the Irish. They've been fucking everybody.
All right, I can't get offended
Hold on.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I am Irish, and I agree with that. We fuck everyone. Like, seriously. I'm a whore.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to deny.
That's the point, though. Like, we've all fucked each other into each other's families. Like,
Yeah.
if you go back far enough,
Well,
all right, you're related to everybody. That's really what it boils down to. Everyone's related to everybody. We're distant cousins, as in, 400, 500 cousin or some shit. But we're still all related. We are the same fucking family. It's just some of us are assholes.
Yeah.
Sitting up on the fucking mountain peak,
Actually-
pushing rocks down to keep us there.
I remember reading a thing about that. Oh god, I think it was earlier, sometime last year, maybe. Talking about how if you go back far enough into the genealogy, I mean, it boils down to like 20 some odd people that everyone
Lower. It's
Yeah,
actually
might even
single
be lower than
digits.
that everyone is related to because once it starts branching out enough, there's not enough people for people to have like ancestors of their own. Everybody's like fucking everybody.
Yeah, that's okay.
Like, okay, so put it this way. We're all whores. We just need to rise up against
But
and,
some of us
and
more than
change the
others.
system. Yeah, I'm more of a whore than
Okay,
you
look.
are.
I'm a pretty
The
good
Irish,
guy.
the Irish have been fucking each other into each other's family for
You know what?
centuries.
Okay, so
That's why they-
be
The Irish-
everyone be like the Irish. Like, seriously, just go fuck somebody random. Like, go have a baby. Go have a beautiful mixed baby because we're all fucking gorgeous. I'm gorgeous. We're all fucking
some of
gorgeous.
the most beautiful people on the planet.
And stop
Oh, God,
the fucking
absolutely.
mindset that men are beneath us, that men need to die for everything. Men need to have the self-accountability for even women's issues.
Okay, when you look
And we
at-
need to rise up against the system and fucking systematically change everything for the betterment of everyone. And stop having the fucking toxic mindset of, this person against this person. We need to stop it. It's not going to be healthy. It's not healthy in the minority community. It's not healthy in the Caucasian, community. It's not healthy,
in any
period.
community. What are you talking like? It's never me versus another person.
No.
There's an
It's
issue
us
between
versus the problem.
Yes.
We see a problem. We need to fucking work together and fix it.
Well, that's good relationship advice. That's good marriage advice.
Yeah.
That's
You know.
good advice in general.
It
many
really is. Like, if there is an issue that comes up, we need to be able to communicate effectively. And
Nah.
just said JK.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I'm
you
like-
read the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I caught the JK there. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was like, now wait a minute.
Like, because I value men. There's a comment that had made me look over. What the
Like,
fuck? It's like, you
I've-
had me until you said value men. And I'm like,
Yeah, you stopped. So I was watching. I've mentioned this before on previous podcasts, where there was a guy doing interviews on the street. Now I'm bringing this up because it's literally one of the most shocking things I've ever seen. But fortunately enough, the woman was honest in the way that she controlled her man. The guy asked her, he said, what's a way for you to control your man? And she said, well, I'll just crush his dreams.
that's so
And-
fucked up.
it's
like,
fucked up.
Okay,
You would be
hold on.
surprised
As a woman, I'm gonna get real with you guys real fast. As a woman,
Just fist bump your chest.
Yeah, well, hey,
fuck off.
love you, bro.
Yeah. Okay. As a fucking woman, we need to empower those people around us. We need to empower every single person in our fucking life, because without that, they mentally diminish.
They do. Well, it's not
So
just
pretty much
that.
so.
It is, especially our men. If you are a cis woman dating a cis man,
It doesn't
married
matter
to
if you're cis or not.
no,
Like,
no, no,
it
no.
doesn't
It's
fucking
no,
matter at
no.
all.
This is okay. So outside of the cis community, people are fairly equal on a lot of things. A lot of in the cis community, they're not so equal. Men are held above women. Women are devalued. It's fucked up
I mean,
for a man to
yeah.
be effeminate because men can't act a certain way because that's not man enough, and that's such a fucking toxic mindset. But it's taught because of women. We teach our men that as we raise them, you know, and that's simple truth. As we as mothers, as we raise boys, we teach them, you have to man up. You have to be the strong one of the family. If a father steps out of the relationship or dies or something like that, it is that son's job to be the man of the fucking house and take on the role of the fucking father. I know, but that is the thought.
That's the mindset.
That is the mindset that
in a
is
lot of
being
homes.
bred
A lot of
in.
them, not all of them, but a
A
majority,
majority
of
of homes. Like, okay. I don't agree with tearing or crushing down anyone's dreams. Like,
No.
you should, especially your partners. If you are going to be with somebody, help them achieve their dreams. You'll benefit as well. It's not just them benefiting. If you are there to help them achieve their dreams, to maintain, to reach, then they love you more for that.
them. Then very much so.
It very much is bias brainwashing, as Ace pointed out.
Right. Yes. There's also, I truly believe that New Age feminism is.
Fuck feminism.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish.
I hate gender movements.
I know. Let me finish. Okay. I truly believe that New Age feminism is just pushing men down to keep them in a place of subservient or a subservient attitude.
Okay, so here's my thought. New Age feminism is inspiring the movement to oppress men, and oppressing anyone is never going to be okay.
No. Well, see, if you ask a feminism what they think of men, they'll be like, oh, well, men are trash. And then you ask them, well, are you equal to a man? She'll say yes.
So does that make you trash?
Exactly. That's my point, is that if they feel like men are trash, but they are also equal to a man, they are trash because they have that viewpoint that men are trash. In order, yes.
Yeah.
I can't stand, like, as a woman, I buck the term feminism. I am an equilibrian. That is what I am. I am a humanitarian. I am for the people. I am for closing the gender gaps and realizing that we are all fucking equal, but we all have our different strengths and weaknesses. And together, we empower each other.
We may not be equal in every sense, but we are valued equally.
Yes.
Okay? Like, if you take the majority of men, they're stronger just because they have testosterone going through their bodies. Take women, they have estrogen going through them. We're different physically, but
they can't. Oh, and put it this way. This is a better mindset. We can hold babies in our body for 9 months, 10 months for some women. Men hold the batter and the key to make said baby. We are different, dramatically different, but together we create beauty.
Right, and okay, that's really going towards my point, though, is that in order to raise women up, you need to raise men up as well.
Exactly.
We can't push one down
because
to
it's oppressing both.
Right. Well, I've always felt like you're taller in everyone else's eyes when you pull someone up.
Exactly.
Because you have to stand. Okay, if you pushing someone down, you have to lay on the ground and cover them to keep them down. That doesn't mean you're getting better. That just means you're forcing them down, and you will no longer be able to rise above it. Not until you stand up and help them up, and you stand together equally, will you be able to make yourself more valuable as a person.
Fuck yeah. And that right there is the key. Value yourself above all, but value your neighbor just as much as yourself.
That's a bit of a paradox, but I understand.
No,
what
no,
you're
it's
saying.
not a paradox. It's you value yourself. You love yourself. You have to be there. You don't want to oppress yourself. Don't oppress those around you.
Okay, all right.
Value them, lift them up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you said, value yourself above all others.
Yes, because if you don't value yourself above all others, you don't take care of your self-care time.
True. Okay, all right. I see what you're saying. Okay, definitely self-care.
Oh God, yes.
Like right now, I need a vacation.
Fuck yes, we do. Okay, so I didn't go home at all last week. I was at work.
Yeah.
All week.
All week. I went to work Monday night and I did not come home until Friday night, and I am going out of my fucking mind.
Yes. But see, we need that self-care. I know me and my wife, we need that vacation. We still haven't been able to take a honeymoon. We've been married for 2 years.
I can't believe
Hold on. So we literally just essentially took our honeymoon.
Yeah.
And we've been married for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that says something.
It's fun though.
I value my wife sometimes more than I value my own self and my own sanity.
Mm-hmm.
But I realize that in order to value my wife the way that she should be valued, I need to value myself as well and take that time away.
Exactly. And, especially being as a man, all of the people in your life are going to put that weight onto your shoulders.
Yeah.
To be the strong one, to be the caring one.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
No,
to be the hardcore provider.
No, when there's every guy that's been married who had their grandfather there, that old age, they're like, you're the man, you are the pillar, you are the strength.
Yes.
You cannot waver, you are solid.
And that is
a lot
bullshit.
of stress.
See, that is a lot of, and specifically speaking of myself on that one, my grandfather was like that before he passed away.
Yeah.
But he was also, if I had an issue, I could call it.
Right.
Hands down.
See, there is something that women haven't had for such a long time. It hurts me. But I've seen that a lot of women can't be friends with other women because ultimately you guys understand each other and you hate each other.
Yeah.
That's why men don't care to understand women.
Okay, I have
so fucking true.
No, it is true. Okay, as a woman, I have 0 close women friends. Every person in my life is another man because I don't like being torn down by other women.
But see, there's a hierarchy amongst men.
See,
There's
a hierarchy among women too, but it's who can be on top by oppressing the most.
No,
who you can look see all the girls clubs and stuff like that, and you can go and there's definitely a pecking order.
Oh, very much
and
so.
I can't stand it. I can't fucking stand it. Like, I don't like being torn down. I don't like to devalue myself. I refuse to devalue myself for another fucking person. And I refuse to be oppressed by anyone, period. And I'm most definitely not going to have another woman make those little facetious comments at me to tear me down. I'm like, fuck that.
I love where you got those sandals. Where'd you get them at Jesus Convention?
No. Typically, it's not even. No. See,
fuck. I'll be right back.
Typically, it's not even that funny. Like, it's not. It's more underhanded than that. It's.
I love
other
those
women.
Shoes.
No,
That's something my grandmother used to wear.
I know, like. It's awful. He did go there. It's fucking awful among women, and women need to fucking do better for the betterment of our gender.
I'll tell the dude, hey, your shirt looks like shit.
Right. But I'm also like, dude, I fucking love your tie. Where'd you get it?
Exactly.
Like, we express ourselves more honestly.
You want to see
a
dude line up? I shit you not, and I've done this. Hey, nice shoes.
Right.
Just a little thing like that, and they're like a fucking kid on Christmas.
Yeah. All right.
Do that to anyone.
Ladies,
like, seriously.
Well, yeah, but
don't ever tell a man that their shoes are cute. Oh my fucking God.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Yeah, no. They think they're slick.
Yeah,
They're not.
All right.
No, see, that just made me abandon my gender completely and devalue pretty much the majority of women that are within my age group. I won't talk. My ex's mother was amazing with that. By the time I left that relationship, I was so fucking insane. I did not know what was real because of her words and her actions.
Yeah, that's because it was a narcissist who raised another narcissist, and you got together with that narcissist and you put yourself in that situation. Okay, they devalued you. They made you think what was real wasn't real. They literally challenged your sanity.
Yeah, oh God, yeah,
out.
they did. They fucking did. I was nuts by the time that relationship
Yeah.
was over. But it wasn't so. It wasn't. Yeah, he'll agree with it. My husband helped pick up that fallout.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Oh,
Worth it.
Look, ladies, let me just be very, very real right now. Okay, when you compliment your man, because men don't get a lot of compliments from women. We don't.
compliment the fuck out of them. A random man on the street, compliment the fuck out of them. No, hold on. I want to touch something real fast.
Okay.
Men need to be complimented more. That way they become emotionally numb to that shit, so they don't try to fuck everything that compliments them.
That's very true.
That is true. That is so true.
Let me be very real here. The fact that men don't get complimented more means that when you do, we misconstrue that for affection.
Yeah.
And we attach ourselves to it, which is where a lot of creepy shit comes from. Okay, now a majority of that is like high school creepy shit. We just don't know how to talk to women. But
as far as that goes, I've complimented guys before.
Right.
And they're like, they don't know whether you're being sincere or you're trying to hit on them.
Right.
Even,
I mean,
I'll tell you, buddy. I flirt with it. I'll flirt with a dude. I don't give a shit.
Well, you're also gay as shit.
Only like 46%.
It's not just desensitizing them to it. It's also bolstering their confidence. You see, men live off of one compliment for months or years because we don't get that.
What was that?
46%.
Yeah. We don't get those compliments very often. So my wife compliments me enough to where I'm not seeking attention from more people.
Yeah.
I have that attention that I need because she tells me that I'm pretty. And that allows me to do weird shit. Like the other day I came in, I was like, baby, spank my ass and call me Mr. Pickles. And you see the look on her face, but I have that confidence to do that because she gives me that attention and the compliments that I need to feel like an actual human being. And there's a lot of young men who are growing up without the affection and attention that's given on a daily basis to women. And, oh, God, you couldn't handle me if I did that shit to you. I guarantee it. That's literally one of the most vanilla statements I've ever made to my wife.
Okay, he says the random shit, but his vanilla lifestyle is so freaking adorable.
That's
I admire the level of vanilla.
That's because whenever I put flavor on it,
you gotta put a little bit of that pepper, a
little bit of chocolate sauce, a bit of a cherry on top. You don't always eat a sundae, okay? You have that vanilla ice cream because you enjoy it, but when you put flavor on it, you're like, oh shit, there's flavor now.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but every time I see vanilla ice cream, I put peanut butter on it.
And
every single fucking time. That is the most vanilla thing I will eat. As long as it has peanut butter, I'm good.
Well, see, it's like, okay. There's God damn it. There's a reason behind everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not one of those people who just acts without any point. When I come in and I say some random shit to my wife.
When you come in?
Yes. I knock on that door. And I pull into the parking garage. Anyway, whenever I say that random shit to my wife, it's in order to make sure that she laughs so I can enjoy that. I enjoy the sound of her laughter.
Yes.
So I get her to laugh because it makes me happy that I've made her happy. Okay. And I enjoy that. It's the same as making her reach her climax. That gives me confidence in myself because I effectually made you feel good.
Okay.
And I know that.
I don't know. So what about the women? Like I'm one of those. I am unable to obtain orgasms during sex or any kind of sex.
I disagree.
And the majority of the time, I just end up faking to make their issues go away and boost their ego a little bit.
Right. Now there is a premise to desensitization.
Mm-hmm.
Desensitization.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
And it's like vibrators. All right. If you're constantly using a vibrator, you're going to desensitize yourself because our shit doesn't vibrate
Well,
All right.
That's like
It's
same thing for guys.
not even
Right.
just that, because there are women who use vibrators and they're not desensitized. They can obtain
Yes.
that orgasm during
But
sexual
it's the
intercourse.
same for guys.
I
Like,
think
we're
it's their
constantly
clitoral.
Constantly.
It's either they don't know what an orgasm feels like and just the sensation,
Right.
or their clitoris is just literally closer to their hole. That is my theory.
Which is-
They have a closer
Okay.
clit.
Right. But if that's the case, it's like, know your body.
You know,
okay?
oh,
know
and-
how you get off and enjoy. Like, know what you
I'm
enjoy.
just gonna say that literally the clit needs to be in that spot between the anus and the vagina. That's where it needs to be for perfection, right there. Because those balls slapping on
Okay,
it
well,
like
look,
that.
I
would
feel like
constantly
God
would
made
be
the biggest
amazing.
mistake when he put
Yeah.
balls on the outside of the
Like that
body.
would be annoying.
No.
Like,
That's why I like doggy so much, because
Like
balls
if
hit.
somebody random was like flicking me in the head of my dick, I'd be like, "Fucking stop it! Get off of me! I got shit to do."
look,
Come here, Big Daddy.
I've said for a very long time that when God put balls on the outside of a man's body, he nerfed us. Okay? It's the same thing with nutting.
absolutely.
Like, God was so afraid of a horny man, he gave us a cool down period. All right? Like, we can't just fucking nut and then go right for the second nut. Like, we gotta wait.
You can.
No,
if
you
do it
can.
right.
You have
If
to
you-
actually.
okay,
You have
alright.
to train your body to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Hold
You
on.
have to-
Hold
yeah.
on. You can nut a second time. The first nut is a fuck around nut. The second nut is serious.
Yes.
The third
All
nut.
right.
No. You men can obtain multiple orgasms
You
in
can.
one sitting, but you have to work at it and be willing to go through that extremely high pressure
It's-
situation
Oh,
for your
that's so
genitals.
Right.
Like,
See,
okay,
it's-
so what we were talking about yesterday, the different dynamics in my relationships that I have.
Mhm.
Like, I'm baby girl with my Hitler with the pineapple,
Right.
and I am femdom with my husband.
Right.
Right.
And like just the different dynamics. And I do that to my husband often. You hit that freaking prostate,
Yep.
Yeah.
and you can
Awesomeness.
put him to like 10, 15 to regulate temperature of the sperm.
Yeah, I understand that that's
Why
the
am I
reason.
there?
I'm just saying I've been kicked there a few times in my life, and I have never enjoyed it.
I'm not even.
I don't know. My
Shut up.
husband enjoys that often.
I'm just gonna
No.
shut up, walk away.
Like,
You're
I
a
could
stronger man than
I
me.
could stamp on his testicles with fucking heels, and he would just probably come all on my shoes.
Yeah,
Probably.
no, like my balls are a very sensitive area. I don't like them being hit. You can touch them if you're gentle, like, but I don't do the whole like.
Ball torture.
Yeah, no,
you gotta
no ball
get
torture.
you gotta build up to that shit. Get used to it.
A little bit, yeah.
But anyway, back to what we were talking
As he
about.
closes his legs and repositions himself. In the chair.
He's put up
He
a
knows
barrier.
what's coming now that he's mentioned it.
I know exactly what's coming. So we've talked about a lot of shit so far. We're an hour in.
I'll be right back.
We've discussed, we've touched upon police brutality amongst minorities and poor people. How I think we should change the laws in order to better impact not only the rich, but the poor as well. We've discussed some men's rights, a little bit of self-love. I think, you know what, I'm going to touch up on that for just...
I think self-care
just-
for men, especially, is a very
Yes.
big thing.
Yes, it is.
And
you know what, actually,
I
we're
never-
going to...
And that was a big thing. Me personally,
Right.
I felt guilty
Yes.
almost
Yeah.
doing that. Like that was that.
Right,
I still occasionally do.
You
Because
feel
I-
guilty because you feel like you're weak. You've expressed weakness, and
Right.
you know what? I think
Like-
we need to touch
Like
up on
as a
on
guy,
that
if somebody
real
ever
quick.
asked me, "Are you hey, are you okay?" and
Right.
I come back with, "I'm good," I'm not good.
You're not good. No.
I'm not good.
See, that's okay.
But that's
Well-
all. But I'm always going to come back with that because I'm not like even with my doctor.
Right.
Even if it goes that deep to
Right.
my own doctor,
Where you don't want to
I'll
tell
go.
them what's
I'll make an
wrong.
appointment with
Mhm.
my doctor, and once I get in there, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Well,
Obviously
why the
not.
fuck are you here? You know.
But no, there's okay. We did touch up on the hierarchy of
Yes.
of men. I think we need to expound upon that a little bit.
I
Because
still-
we delve down into the hierarchy of women, and that's through oppression. But when it comes to men, it typically, like, some of the best friends I've got in my life have been after a fight,
Oh yeah.
And I'm not talking about like you bitch, where you smack them. No, I'm talking about knockdown, drag out. You're walking away with a broken jaw.
One of my best friends, all through school, I kind of lost touch with him after school, but I gave myself a boxer's fracture on his jaw in 7th grade.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was about.
No, but see, you resolved your issue through a fight. Now, that's the best way we know how to resolve our issues.
Mm-hmm.
After we're done with that and we know where each other stand and that we're willing to take it to that point, we back off.
That could all the physical violence can stop if you guys started practicing nonviolent communication more.
Right. No, I'm 100% agree
I
with
absolutely
you.
agree with that.
The problem is that we're not teaching our young men and our boys how to properly communicate with one another. We're teaching them that emotion holds no value and that action holds everything and is everything. So unless you're willing to fight that motherfucker, he can't be your friend in most instances.
That's so
okay. But once it's done, we are friends. And it's a lifelong friendship. There's people I could call up that I haven't seen since kindergarten. And I'd be like, hey, bro, remember me? We fucking brawled on the park that one day.
Right.
How are you doing? He's like, oh, man, I'm doing good. What do you need? Well, man, I need someone to be the best man at my wedding. Are you down? Fuck yeah. And they will show up, pay for their shit, and be there.
Exactly.
There's no like I had no issue fighting groomsmen for my wedding. As a matter of fact, the issue was that I had too many that were willing to do it because men are more, and this is something I truly believe. I truly believe men are more willing to take on responsibility because we've been trained that that's our duty.
Right.
Whereas it's different in a female society because they are taught that responsibility is largely on the men unless there's a child involved, in which case that's all yours and you don't trust him with the kid.
Oh, see, so that's really fucked up right there because I've got a manny. I don't have any females. I have a man that I go to watch my child.
I'm right here.
And yeah, it's this guy right here. And he's literally the only one that I will trust with my kid. And 9 times out of 10, I will trust a man with my children because they're all boys than I would a female.
See, and that goes into...
Because nobody wants to fucking talk about the female sexual predator. And there's a fuck ton of them.
Yes,
and there's actually statistically more female predators than there are male predators.
Yeah, but that's a hard...
But nobody wants to talk about that
That's a hard topic. But that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about the hard topics and throw out facts. We're not opinions. We'll find that. We'll actually post that to the Facebook page as well. I need to start taking fucking notes of what we need to find post on the Facebook page.
Why don't you run like Dragon or something during the podcasts? That way it dictates
you know what?
Everything you say.
Just
a thought.
Tell me how to set that up and we'll do that. Because I'm not sure how to do that, set it up. But there are a lot of women who are sexual predators. There's actually several that we know. Because they worked at the school and were sleeping with students.
Okay, that right there. That fucks with me.
I can think of 3 or 4 off the top of my head.
Okay, so back in the day before, the equality started coming on and holding women more accountable to their actions, which we really need to do because women in society were not held accountable for anything. And that's how you get the spoiled bitch syndrome. And that's what a lot of women are dealing with now. But back in the day, the boys thought it was cool just to, get laid by their teacher. They would give each other fucking high fives. And nobody ever talked about that shit. But men in general are growing up with so much fucking sexual abuse and so much trauma that they don't know how to regulate those emotions. They don't know how to fucking feel anymore because women in their life have destroyed them.
I'm also going to touch up that like hardcore porn is more easily accessible now than it has been any other point in time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, the only difference, though, between hardcore porn now and hardcore porn in the 16th century is that then you just pay to someone walking down the street a couple of coppers, and they bend over, you fuck them, and you walk away.
Right.
Now it's like, you know what? I want to watch 3 girls, a donkey, 2 homosexuals, and a giraffe get it on in the same room. And you're like, fuck
you forgot the parrot and the marmalade, man.
Yeah, and you're like, man, this is some kingly shit. And you go, you light some candles, you fucking whack off, and you're out in the living room for a couple of hours, and you're like, you know what? I feel like jerking off again. So you're like, I wonder what I'm going to look at today. And you scroll through pages and pages and pages of porn to find what is going to turn you on that point in time because everything else has been desensitized to you. You know, you can no longer watch just a guy on a girl or a girl on a girl or a guy on a guy.
See, I don't know. So my taste, and this is actually a really hardcore conversation that I was having with somebody else the other day. My taste in porn are drastically more vanilla than my tastes actually in reality sexually. Like sexually, I'm hardcore. Beat the fuck out of me. Tell me what to do. Spit in my fucking mouth. You know, do all kinds of kinky shit to me. But in reality, I just want to watch some gay porn.
And
I want to watch a guy softly fuck another guy in the ass. That's it.
Where the hell kind of gay porn are you finding anybody fucking anybody softly? I've never seen that shit in my life. And I watch a lot of gay porn.
I have.
I've never.
I'll show you.
It's oh god, I need to see this because I don't believe it exists.
No, like that's
it does. I also want to see some small dicks. Nobody wants to talk about small dicks. Nobody, like everybody, even in the gay community, it's better for a man to have a ginormous dick and jackhammer the fuck out of somebody, but it's not okay to have a smaller dick
or an average size even.
And that was actually a conversation that I was talking about. Like,
there's a lot of women who can't take a big dick.
I'm not one of those. I do not want to.
I'm at
you
the edge of
what
my wife would be able to handle. Just
give me a moment.
Once,
like my preference, you know, is probably 4 or 5. Like I'm good with that. Thick but stumpy is the way I like to call it.
It's a chode. That is chodish.
No, I can't stand the fucking jackhammers.
I'm going to show you this.
What?
There's just I feel like.
Hold on, my husband is pulling something up online.
Yeah, while he's doing that, I feel like there's a stigma surrounding. Like a lot of men have penis envy.
This is a thing. Just so you know, it's called the O-nut.
Okay.
It is individual rings that you can put around your penis so that you're not jabbing somebody in the fucking kidneys. It exists.
Wow.
Nice.
And it works as a buffer for your penis so that you're not going too deep.
But how does that feel for you?
I would imagine it wouldn't feel any different. I don't know. I've never used one. I came across them the other day actually on Amazon.
Amazon has everything. I bought like 16 ounces of coyote piss the other day.
Just reminded me that I was going to show you that.
I don't know. Like my vaginal canal is not deep.
It is not.
It's a good 2 fingers. It's like fucking hell. You don't need a goddamn 10-inch cock. And there was a Marine or self-proclaimed Marine.
Oh, I remember this dude.
I don't know if he was legitimately Marine, but he approached me online, of course, because that's where the majority of men actually. The majority of men just approach me online. I've only been approached one time in my life in person for a date, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, okay, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, fucking talk about it. But the self-proclaimed Marine, he wanted to just casually drop in that he had an 8-inch dick. And I'm like, is that supposed to impress me? I would be more impressed if you were legitimately honest about your dick size and say you had a 4-inch stump. Like, that's good. I would have been like, I'm probably going to jump on that.
I've always lied about it. I've always told everyone that I got a pathetic little dick because here's my reasoning behind it, all right?
Because the dudes that brag about it,
they've got a tiny dick. But see, if you say you got a pathetic little dick, if you're lying, you got a big dick. And all of a sudden,
I always tell people I'm hung like a gerbil on a cold winter's morning.
Okay, same thing. But
and your dick is entirely too big.
If you tell people you got a little dick, then they're like, oh, well, he's got a little dick. And then if you convince them to sleep with you anyway, they're like, oh,
exactly.
Little. And it's not a surprise when you're little because you've told the truth. But if you're fucking hung like a goddamn horse, they're like, I thought you said you had a little dick. And now it's a surprise. Like, surprise! Massive load coming. But,
you know, and of course, those, especially those porns, they don't help the issue because they always want to have the biggest dick male, the biggest hung male.
The thing with porn,
or the women taking the fucking 2-foot
this is something
strap-ons in their ass.
Yes,
like,
the best thing my grandfather ever told me is that it's not real.
Yeah, yes, the thing with porn, especially, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, it's fucking camera angles.
That's true.
I have an average size, maybe slightly above average size penis. I can make that
slightly above.
There's a
slightly above. I can make that.
My cervix says differently.
I can make that damn thing look like it's going past my knee if I hit the right camera angle.
Right, but see, there's some who aren't. Like, I mean, okay, just to say a name, Mandingo.
Oh, Jesus fuck.
We all know his shit dangs down to like his fucking knees.
That's fake.
Yes.
No, that's the thing. That's actually legitimately fake.
not. No, there's one that's not. God, what's that guy? He's married to.
That's like the whole, dudes using penis pumps.
Yes,
I've used one of those. It'll turn your shit into a damn jelly donut. It's not good for
Or
anything but
the
looks.
silicones.
Right.
They got to pump the balls and inject the silicone with everything and like. Have
Speaking of which, random fact:
What?
Sylvester Stallone has a penile implant.
Okay, now all right. So I was actually.
He was also in
looking
a
up-
porno.
Well, yeah,
Yes,
he was.
everybody knows that.
Yeah, but he actually wrote all the Rockies and
Yes.
Rambos himself.
Yeah.
And what he did was he marketed it so that he would be able to play those roles.
Right.
So he wrote the story so that he could play them. Sylvester's a horrible actor.
Yeah.
But he's good in certain roles.
I will agree because I just watched Demolition Man the other night.
Yes.
It's like, why
He's
am I watching this?
He's great in certain roles, which is why he wrote those movies so that he could get the job, and that was the whole point.
Right.
He wrote them and said, if you want this script, I have to be lead. And they did put him in Rambo. One of my favorite series is Rambo. Like, honestly, they keep getting better, which is very rare for a movie.
Is that yours? No.
Like, now the last one that they did, I wasn't.
I still haven't seen that one yet.
It was good, but it wasn't on par with the fourth Rambo.
That was a good one.
The fourth one was actually
Favorite
really good.
Christmas movie,
I
by
don't
the
know
way.
how the fuck we got on Rambo, but
Giant dicks.
yeah,
Sylvester
I
Stallone
don't
uses
know.
growth hormone. It's probably like that.
That's as long as you're taking your liver
Yeah.
vitamins and shit, it shouldn't affect you overall. And make sure to do it like an 8 week on, 8 week off, or
Yes.
4 weeks on, 4 weeks off. I've never done steroids a day in my life. But there's just some shit that you should know.
there are ways to do them safely. But we won't get
Don't-
into that.
Yeah, do it
let's-
safely.
Okay, as somebody who is a gym enthusiast, don't fucking touch the goddamn steroids. Even if you're powerlifting and going for those competitions, do it naturally because it is better to obtain things over a slower amount of time
And
than kill your fucking kidneys and shorten your lifespan because you're doing
Yeah.
tren or one of the other number of steroids that are out there. It's
Right.
fucking awful. And I deal with that.
I don't know. I always felt great after a steroid shot from the hospital. Let me tell you.
Different.
Different steroids.
totally
I
different
felt
steroids.
amazing.
No. So I mean, I deal with this in my gym a lot with a lot of the power lifters there. They're going.
There's some that are just fucking
Yeah, they can lift those
ridiculous.
numbers quickly and do it quickly and obtain those titles, but they're killing their liver.
Yeah.
And, causing things like polycythemia, liver stenosis, kidney failure. It's
not good for
awful.
You.
Renal
Not
failure.
to mention the whole
Well, that is
testosterone
kidney
crash
failure.
when you come off
We've
of it.
touched up on penis envy a little bit. I think the majority of that is just being comfortable with your own body.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
Comfortable while changing to become your best self is my
And I
thought
think-
process.
If you don't like something about yourself, move to slowly change it. A lot of
Yeah.
it is just being a little overweight.
And
Move towards your goal.
you have to be able to. I think you hit the nail on the head there slowly. I think a lot of people, especially
Want instant
now,
gratification.
want instant results. with
Okay,
it.
I think the
Appreciate it.
majority of the reason why people want instant gratification is because of places like Facebook and Twitter, where we're able to instantly gratify that need for attention.
Well, I mean, look at bodybuilding magazines or
Yeah.
ads in bodybuilding magazines. You see some dude who's obviously the same guy. Okay,
Right.
but they've had him drink a couple 2 liters of soda.
Yeah.
It bloated him up. They had him fill his gut up with air. And he's like, he went from this to this in 8 weeks with this product.
No.
No, he fucking didn't.
He went from that to that in like 24 hours because he already was there and he drank a fuck ton
he
of pop.
drank a pop. He took a shit, and then he looked like that again.
There's
The whole instant gratification culture pisses me off.
It-
We won't
it
get
does.
into that.
Well,
And
that's
it does.
participation culture.
Especially for like
Oh,
like
don't
you
get
said
me
a minute
started on
ago
participation
for
trophies.
the Facebook comments, attention via social media. I'm a firm believer.
Oh, welcome back, Hayes.
I'm a firm.
Oh,
Call in.
all right. Hold on. Let me. Oh shit. Sorry, I got a gaming mouse up here. It's a little hard for me to get it.
Connect.
All right. Let's see if we can hear you. We've had a few problems earlier on in the day. If I can't hear you, go ahead and comment down below if you are speaking. I don't know why it's doing that.
Do you have a mic plugged in?
That's the only mic. We haven't had
Do you
this
have a
issue
headset
before.
plugged in?
I do not. Let me try.
Oh, don't unplug the mic.
Can you hear us now? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know why it's not allowing people to talk.
Here, just go ahead and disconnect.
I'm so sorry, guys.
We're having some
Hey,
technical
go
difficulties.
ahead and
here.
disconnect. Like,
Yeah,
no
I'm
more,
not
no
sure.
call-ins today. Like, we're good. Just.
I'm so sorry about that. We're not able to hear anyone who's calling in. We're gonna have to.
Here.
Yeah, well,
Here, just go ahead and click there and
Okay.
disable. Hit yes.
all right. I'm so sorry, guys.
You
I was
didn't
hoping to do
disconnect.
some-
Yeah, you didn't disconnect.
Oh,
You have to
Oh,
do that.
gotcha.
Hit disconnect. I said it. Hit yes.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm sorry, guys. We're having some issues.
All right,
with
any-
hearing people.
Anyways, back on topic.
The topic today
Is fuck all. All right.
Well, it's
go-
not football. We're mainly
Let's
talking
move on
about
with
men's rights, the
men's
stigma
issues in
surrounding
general.
them, self-care, love yourself, relationship bonding, that kind
Porn.
of stuff. Porn. We touched upon Sylvester Stallone, that he was
Big
into
dick
porn,
culture.
Big dicks.
Yeah. Anyway, so like I was saying, okay, as for like the Facebook, the social media attention, it that is such a vapid attention form.
It is, but it's not conducive to self-care.
No, it's not. Okay, so with things like me, personal time means everything to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you could text me all day long, and I'm going to have that huge disconnect and be like, I don't give a shit about what you're saying. You can call me on the phone.
Show
I'm
me.
still like, I don't give a shit what you're saying, period. Like, I don't want to be on the phone with you. I would rather not text you.
You are an in-person.
I'm definitely. If you want to show me your value, if you want to
Did
show
you
me
actually
true
talk to
attention,
her in person to ask her out on a date?
no.
No.
Spend that one-on-one time
Who was
with
it?
me. Do what?
Who was it that asked you out in person?
Oh God. I honestly can't remember his name.
But no, I actually started talking to her online, and then I talked to her on the phone, and I thought, oh God, I'm going to jail because she sounds 12. When she's
Yeah,
on the phone.
apparently I sound
Oh.
12.
See, okay, that's okay.
I'm just the valley girl.
You really do sound way
The
young on
fact,
the phone. It
the
freaked me
fact
out.
that men need to have a rule like card before you hug. There's because that's a rule that I have.
So,
I
was gonna
Thank
say,
you,
don't
Dogman.
knock that rule. That's a valid.
I
fucking
know,
rule,
I know.
man.
It's a very valid rule because I have a friend,
Oh yeah.
and I'm just gonna talk about this for a second, okay? Because we're gonna talk about the stigma surrounding men. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. We enjoy having participants and people enjoying our show. I have a friend who met a girl online, and everything was great. She said she was 17, about to turn 18. He said, look, talk to me when you're 18, because at least then I know you'll be legal. He went and checked her Facebook page. She had a birthday coming up. He's like, all right, cool. So, and I'm sure you guys know where I'm going with this story. He waited until she was 18. They started texting. They sent a few pictures back and forth. And she, a couple of weeks later, said, look, I need to talk to you about something. He said, sure, what you got? And she said, I'm not 18. And he goes, okay. She goes, I'm 12.
What?
Whoa.
Yes.
That's
Now, okay.
an age gap.
Yeah. Now, hold on. I saw some of the pictures that he had sent me. Not any of the nudes or anything. He's a very don't kiss, don't tell kind of person.
Right.
But I saw her Facebook profile, and she looked like she was 22. Like, I was like, I understand you being careful and everything. I was like, she looks, to be of age,
Fucking hell.
I'm
Okay,
so
so when I
nuts.
was 12, I looked like a fucking
Okay.
Cabbage Patch
I've
Kid.
joked for
No.
years
Jesus Christ.
that if they look 21,
They're
12.
probably 12. Yeah, and especially in this area,
Yes.
I've seen that. Anyway, he broke it off with her. He said, look, I can't date you. I can't be with you. This is wrong. And he deleted everything, wiped his hard drive. She tried to kill herself. And that's when her father, who just happened to always walk in on her during a shower, found her naked, or his naked pictures on her phone. And then there was the FBI knocking on my friend's door. He got arrested, and he went to jail for a very, very long time, and he's still there. I don't tell people much about him, but I do know one very big intrinsic fact is that he has never been someone who would do that kind of thing. He's not the kind of guy that does that. Never has been. He's always been a very upstanding person. He was caught in a web of lies, and but there's the stigma again. He's obviously guilty because he's a man. He had nothing to do with it, regardless of if she tricked him into believing she was 18. He still should have known.
And that's why we're not holding men accountable. Like, okay, so as a woman, we're
not holding women accountable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're not holding women accountable. Like, so as a woman, I've personally been victimized as a teenager from pedophiles and predators 3 times from the age of 10 to, and that's so fucked up, 10 to 17 actually. And that is fucked up because there are legitimate predators out there, but holding these, young men and stuff like that accountable for all of the actions and the poor choices of the young women is really fucked up.
But okay, the issue that I see is we're giving young children the ability to ruin lives without evidence.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that's the issue that I see. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's a liar. What I am saying...
Okay, no, everyone is inherently a liar. And you have to go into the mindset that everybody lies, provide me proof.
Right, I'm speaking of the situation. Yeah. Now, this is such a hard topic because I know ingrained in me is the fact that all women are innocent. But it's not a fact. That's an opinion.
No, women are some of the most predatory creatures.
I completely understand that mindset.
Okay, yeah, he gets what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, because of men, because you were taught by women that women are weaker and they need to be protected. But because of that mentality, you guys are literally breeding women predators. Because other women teach you that women are weak, they need to be protected. No, they're fucking predators and they're destroying lives.
Men are taught that women are infallible.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're
100%. Not. Right now, I have a paradoxical mindset about the situation.
That goes back to when I was dealing with my abuse and I had to call the cops.
Yeah.
And it came down to, it wasn't what did she do? It was what did he do to you to cause you to hit him?
Yeah. Okay. So here's a lesson for today, guys. Fucking self-accountability. Women especially, hold yourself accountable for your actions, for your words, for your treatment. Men, hold yourself accountable for your actions, your treatment. And everybody, believe that everyone around you is a fucking liar that you can't trust and you need to have proof for everything. And I know that's a toxic mindset and goes against everything that I've been speaking of, but it's the fucking truth.
It is the truth.
People are shit. Like, ultimately.
People are shit. People are shit and they need to be held accountable and we need to stop the predatory actions. Simple as that.
It is very simple, but it's not so simple in the long run. It is a simple mindset, and I believe in it. That's the issue, is that believing in it and changing it are 2 different things. And right now, we have a society where if literally I could be innocent as shit, but if somebody went on my Facebook profile who was 12 and said that she knew me and said that I touched her or molested her, I'm going to prison.
Not necessarily.
Until it can be proved. Unless, I shouldn't say unless
it can be proved otherwise that I never touched her, I'm going to jail. It's no longer you're innocent until proven guilty. You are innocent until proven innocent.
Yeah.
Well, you're guilty until proven innocent, you mean?
Or yes, you're guilty until proven innocent. I'm sorry.
It's been that way for a long time, dude.
But yeah, it has been that way for a long time. Like bail's ridiculous. Like, you shouldn't have to bail out if you haven't been charged for the crime. Like, if my wife calls the cops...
Well, I mean, if you were going to jail and there's a need for bail, you are being charged for a crime. Because you will have a court date.
Right, you'll have a court date, but you have been proven that you committed the crime. There's literally thousands of Americans who are still sitting in prison who have not had a court date, and they've been in prison for years because they can't get the bail.
Yeah.
Okay,
and that right there is the systematic oppression for a heavy impoverished community.
Just fucked up.
It is.
You know, back in like the 1600s when bail was started, you could actually like use yourself as bail for someone else, and then if they didn't show up to their court date, they would actually, like, say your son got arrested, okay, and you as their parent, okay, I will, promise you that they will show up. That was like the form of bail at the time. If they didn't show up, you took whatever punishment they were going to get. Mm-hmm. If they were going to get killed, They beheaded you.
Right. Okay. That
I
I
like
just-
that.
there'd be a lot of people who wouldn't vouch for other motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Just an interesting thing that I happened to know.
You really know who your friends were, real quick.
Exactly.
The issue that I've seen, overall, the issue that I've seen is that the stigma against men, because that's what it is. It's a stigma against men. It's not for men or of men. It's against men.
Yes.
Is
very
that
much
we
so.
are immediately guilty because we are men, which is that's not true at all. There's a lot of women who put us in compromising positions. And like there was a celebrity a while back whose wife beat herself up in the elevator.
Oh, are you talking about Johnny Depp?
I think it might have been
Was
Johnny
it Johnny
Depp.
Depp?
Yeah. Like, oh god, his reputation, everything, and it was finally come out and proven in court
That
that
she-
he was
yeah.
that she was the aggressor. That
Right,
she
but he
beat
still
him often.
lost
Yeah,
in
he lost.
society because society says you're the man, you're guilty regardless.
Yeah.
until it came out otherwise.
Right.
And even I was like, oh man, I fucking liked him.
Yeah, but see,
You
that's
know?
the
And then
thing.
when
Like,
it came out that it was all horse shit, it was like,
there's
whoa.
as a society, we cannot be so quick to judge. We do not know the facts. We do not know the circumstances behind everything. If the court of law comes out, and it's a blind trust. That's why the lady law has a blindfold on it. It's blind trust. It's blind justice, and we need to have some sort of faith that it will work. Now, I'm not saying that I completely trust it. I'm saying that I have faith that it could be better. I have trust that it could be better. And I hope it will be better in the future. I don't think that it will be, but I hope so.
I'm like, no, I know because our generation is breeding more mindsets like myself.
Yeah.
And so I know for a fact it's going to be changed.
I really hope so. I don't see that. I'm very pragmatic
Hmm.
about it. I'm a realist. I see corruption, and I don't see corruption going away.
And no, I do because it takes people who are like myself. There is a TikToker woman, the one with all the tattoos. I can't
don't
remember.
know her name.
Hold on.
I love her.
Hold
I
on,
do too.
let me-
I
let
follow
me
her
pull
too.
her up.
Uh-huh.
Let me pull her up.
I
Hold on.
love her.
We're gonna.
I'm
throw
just
you
gonna
guys-
give her a quick shout out real quick. She is on my TikTok. Oh, hold on. Got it.
Yep.
All right. Sorry about that. Hold on.
That was great.
for all 55 people who have listened to this.
Our
there
highest,
55
yeah,
on
our
there?
highest live to
Sweet.
date.
I'm gonna claim because I'm here and I'm awesome.
She does come out. She has a lot of
She
opinions
does.
about women and sexism, and she's
I-
not afraid to beat a
No.
man's ass or a woman's ass. She sees abuse as abuse, and that's how it should
I
be.
love her. I cannot think of her name though.
Hold on, I'm looking for
She's-
her on TikTok right now. I
Me
follow
too.
way too many people
I
on
don't even
TikTok.
use TikTok.
I'm going through everything that I've got as fast as I possibly can, just like boop boop boop. Oh no, that's the wrong way. Found her.
What's her name?
Okay, so Roma Army.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
ROMAARMY.
She's fucking
Um,
amazing. And
I-
she has the mindset that I do. Like I agree with her. And
She's got over 500,000 followers.
she
like,
needs more because
She's awesome.
she is amazing. And there's also another man I just posted. He talks about a lot of the healthy mindsets and how it's
Yes.
okay for men to feel their emotions.
It is okay. See, that's the thing. It's okay for men to feel their emotions. The problem behind that is that men don't understand their
Okay,
emotions.
Well, see, that is also. I mean, that has been a thing for years. I mean, look at
Millennia.
just as an example. And I know old Western movies aren't exactly historically accurate, but you see a dude sitting in a bar all bummed out. You stick a bottle of whiskey in front of him, you walk away.
Right.
Oh yeah, his the guy that I was talking about was Repairman 67.
Yes,
by the
that
way.
Yeah, okay.
I like
him
him too.
And he talks a lot. He is a teacher in the
While we're
BDSM
giving
community.
shout outs,
Yeah.
just another shout out to Marshall Rosenberg.
Nonviolent communication
Nonviolent communication
and speaking peace.
and speaking peace. Highly recommend them. Most of his books are on Audible. Some of them aren't. However, if you guys are looking to improve the way you communicate with your significant other or just across the board,
Yeah,
highly recommend him. This is a man who worked to settle feuds between
African
African tribes, people who like literally killed each other's brothers and sisters and shit. And he's settled feuds between tribes through communication. Highly recommend him. Very good read. His books are short, but they contain a lot of information. Very, very, very important for most people to read. And reread it several times.
And I will
You'll always
absolutely
learn
back
something.
that up. Like when it was first mentioned to me, I was like, it took me a while to listen to it. Then I started listening to it at work, and then I started listening to it when I was at work. Like, this is actually pretty legit.
Well, yeah, 'cause your wife finally recommended something that you could help you in the long run. It just took you a while to get up to
here's
that.
Going back to that mindset, I don't need to listen to this. I've got this.
Right.
Why listen to this?
Right. But see, we don't.
Nobody's got it. We all need support.
We don't ask for help because help is weakness.
No,
Exactly.
it is not. Help is not.
I understand that it's not. I'm
That mindset,
voicing the mentality and the mindset behind it.
That mindset is a huge thing with men.
Yeah.
Huge.
That's why we don't ask for directions.
I'm pretty proud of myself for this one. I'll even throw that out there. Toot my own horn a little
The
bit.
fact that you're proud of it speaks to how hard it is for us to just do basic things.
I will totally fucking stop and ask for directions. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Because I don't like being lost.
Okay, I'm one of those ones. I won't stop and ask for directions.
That's
She won't.
unhealthy. That's unhealthy behavior.
I'm like, hey, how do I get to this place?
No, I won't do that because
I've driven like
because
50
people-
miles
no, no,
out of
no.
the way and wind up in another state.
to see, okay, so that's the thing. Like, people are inherently okay. I can say in my podcast several times that people are inherently good, but there's a lot of fuck arounds that want to fuck with you.
Okay.
And I've had the
Okay.
experience of
As
being
to-
put in the wrong
Okay.
place because somebody gave me the wrong directions
to
just to
that-
fuck with
As
me.
to that, okay. I grew up on a dirt road, 3 miles down a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. Around a lot of national rivers and things like that.
Mhm.
So we'd have a lot of tourists coming through. I used to take great pleasure.
And
in
you
telling people
are
and
why I have
sending
trust
people
issues.
Way in the middle of fucking nowhere. I'd give them directions like, oh yeah, you drive down to the barn and you'll see a couple of cows and you'll make a left. I would just make shit up.
Is it's not made up. Those are legit directions
to
here.
this
Oh,
day,
okay,
though,
but hold
wonder
on.
how many people got lost and if they ever, like, how long they were lost. Like,
Like, okay, so you are the reason why I have trust issues and why at a young age I learned to read maps
Oh, I
and
think that's-
always have a
okay.
map in my
here's
car.
the
That's
thing
a
with
valuable
though.
skill.
Yeah.
And this kind of goes back to the distrust of the police thing. A lot of the people that came through there were undercover cops looking for people growing weed.
No, they were probably looking for meth in our community,
that's
not so
it.
much
There
There
weed.
was a lot of weed growing on the road that I lived on as a kid.
Hmm.
You can navigate by smell in the summers.
Yeah, you can.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
you can. You really can.
There's a lot of hippies out there,
Yes, there is.
but they're peaceful people.
See, that's the
Unless
the
you're
issue that I
going-
have. Okay, we're gonna touch up on weed for just a second. The issue that I have about the stigma around weed is that it was purely made up from someone's fucking mind.
It was Harry Anslinger.
No, it wasn't made up from somebody's mind. Okay, the stigma that is around marijuana right now is literally before pre-prohibition. It was to influence you. It was the whole
It
mindset
was
of
to influence immigration.
no, it was not. It was for cotton cultivation and supporting the cotton growers of the South because a lot of people grew their own hemp, their own marijuana. They would smoke it, they would use it, they would build things out of it. And they were like, oh, well,
Do you know why? it's referred-
we're making cotton now. So this is a cheaper crop for us to produce and we can do it for free because of slave labor. So we're going to make marijuana illegal. And there was a huge push to make it illegal because of the slave culture.
Do you know
That is true fact.
why it is referred to as marijuana and not cannabis?
What?
Because marijuana, they were able to use the word marijuana to tie it in with the Hispanic culture at the time and demonize it.
Thank you.
Harry Anslinger did that shit because he ran fucking paper mills and newspapers, and it would have fucked him out of business.
No.
Look, all I'm saying is that the stigma based around
why I hate the
marijuana
word
was because
marijuana.
of greed. Okay. And now we're at a point in history where we're like, you know what? Fuck corporate greed, because that's what it was. I believe that if corporate America had a conscience,
Mhm.
we wouldn't have gotten to this point. The fact of the matter is, it does not have a conscience.
No.
And the people behind
Absolutely
it don't
not.
have a conscience.
No.
Okay. We are running the poor people into the ground. We can very easily build everyone up.
I
And
agree.
it's not just giving people things.
And that's
Make
why it's so
college
important. Oh, no, not only just making college cheaper, but pushing the whole trade school aspect, especially for
Absolutely.
our young boys, because
Trade
most people-
school is a huge, and people look down on that. I don't understand why.
Yeah,
No,
make more
because-
money
because
than
everybody
most
is
CEOs.
gonna
What
need-
fucking welder makes?
I do.
Straight out of college.
But I
like
okay,
it's
I
a fuck ton of money.
have a
But
degree in welding. All right. The reason I didn't go into it is because I have a predisposition for a degenerative eye disease, and I'll
Right.
probably end up
Yeah.
going blind when I turn 50.
This right here, why I don't weld. Too
Yeah.
close to get sunburn.
But
no, okay, so like I was talking about, stop, really, and this is so important. If you have a choice, and I know it's going to be a little bit more money, it's going to be a little bit more of an inconvenience to the majority of people, but if you support that small business, you're supporting literally the moms and pops of this country instead of supporting something that may be $2 cheaper. But when you're supporting that $2 cheaper thing, you're supporting slavery in other cultures, in other countries. You're supporting mass ties to
That's true.
immigration
Well,
hysteria.
Slavery is a bigger issue today than it has been
absolutely.
anywhere
Oh,
in history.
Well,
No, I
we've
just
always
didn't
had
think about
issues
that.
with slavery,
you?
but
Yes,
the
I did.
small mom and pops,
No.
especially if they are creating and making their own products
They are.
and not
Yes.
getting them for overseas,
I
like
don't shop-
Walmart.
I try really hard not to shop at Walmart unless
Yeah.
it's something that nobody else has, which is an issue in our area because there's not a lot of
Right,
specialty stores.
Right. And see,
Yeah.
and I
But
do that too.
there's a lot of specialty stores in furniture, and they're
absolutely.
like we have a store here locally. It's run by Mennonites and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and a very
Actually,
good
I'm
store.
Thinking
They have
Missler's furniture.
they have products that we can use for baking. Instead of buying the bread, you can bake your own fucking bread. Yeah, it's a little bit more time. It's a little bit more inconvenience,
It's so good.
but
Right.
it's better. It's better for you. It's healthier in the long run, and you're able to take that pride in your work. So the lifestyles that people
Yeah.
have now, you're taking the pride out of everything, and it turns into that instant gratification
Okay,
mentality.
let's look at the American mentality 100 years ago. American made always lasts.
Yeah,
If you buy something from 100 years ago that's American made,
it's still
you can
working.
guarantee it's still fucking working. Like a lot of the cars. Let's look at like a 1962 anything.
Look at a Model T.
Yeah, a Model T. There's shit that's still running from 1920 because it
With
was
the original
built-
parts.
with original parts because it was built to last.
Because it was built.
But
Uncomplicated.
it's more profit if you make things that
Throw-
degenerate quickly.
Well, no, it's not just that. It's a throwaway culture. We now buy brand new vehicles and get rid of them 10 years down the road because
Not even 10 years most of the time. As soon
I
as
know.
people finish
I'm-
paying
I'm-
off the car
most
payments,
people-
they're like,
I actually
boom.
know this. Most people keep a car on average from the time that they finish paying it off. If they're paying it off and not leasing it, 2.5 to 4 years.
See, that's insane. Okay. So, like, my very first car, a Nissan D21 US pickup truck, short bed, very, very awesome car. Love that
Just throw
fucking
it out
car.
there.
I paid cash for that car.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work my ass off. I paid cash for that car. I lived in that truck. I took that truck all over the fucking
Yeah.
country, from literally Texas all the way up to Washington. I drove that truck everywhere, and I put so much money to keep that truck running. It was,
Mhm.
it was old standard, sucked on fucking hills, but I
It
had
was
that car
video.
until I outgrew that car when I had children.
Okay, I'm just going to throw something out there for the people listening. If you guys are having issues buying cars, let me give you some helpful advice. I've bought several cars. I've been privy to, like, my grandfather actually took me to go buy all the cars that he's bought. My grandpa has a lot of cars because he believes that we should always have a backup vehicle for
Yes.
everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. So he's got like 6 cars sitting in his driveway. They all run. Every one of them gets like a 3-month checkup from the mechanic. That's just who he is. Okay. Every time we've bought a car, every time I've bought a car, I've saved up the money to pay for it in cash. I'm now driving a $10,000 vehicle on any day, because it's a 300C V8, beautiful car, beautiful interior. I got it for $3,900.
I
Why?
paid $500 for my truck.
Right. But see, I paid
I bought a car from a Carney once for $50. I got you beat.
less than half
never
of the
drove it.
car's
How was it
retail
all about the
value.
drive?
simply because I had cash on hand, and people are more willing to negotiate
Yes.
cash on hand today.
Yeah.
If you have the cash in your hand and you hand it to them and say, "This is what I got," they are more willing to make a deal with you for much less than what they would get if they waited.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like when I bought my Jeep, you know.
yeah, cash talks.
Absolutely, it talks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take advantage of that in order to help your life get better.
Works in used cars.
Yeah, you do work with used cars. You understand. You also know how nasty those stickers can get.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't ever buy a used car from used car lot. I'll just throw that out there.
Guys, take pride in your fucking car ownership or ownership of your home and
Please.
clean the fucking shit. Like, take a Q-tip and get out the little crusties from everything. Vacuum your car once a week. Take your trash. Keep a trash bag. Stop smoking. Stop damaging the stuff and having the throwaway mindset. Seriously, fucking God, that like gets to me.
Complaint with anybody. I don't care if you smoke. It's not my decision. I don't give a fuck what you do. But don't smoke in your fucking car because somebody's got to clean that shit and then they smell like cigarettes for a week.
Okay, so I think this actually goes back to how my grandfather, or what he taught me while I was growing up. And that was the law of diminishing return. You can only abuse something so many times before it breaks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, I even remember the day he first told me this. I was like 6 years old and vacuuming. Okay. And I have an eidetic memory for those of you who don't know. That's why I cite sources, but I can't remember the source. I remember what I read very well.
Where it's from.
I can't remember where it's from. That's not something that I remember, but I remember what I read very well because I pay attention to it. I also remember, I have memories very far back, and I remember them identically. So I remember the day my grandfather told me about the law of diminishing return, and I was vacuuming the living room, and I ran the vacuum into the leg of one of the chairs on the couch, or one of the legs on the couch. And my grandfather looked at me and said, "Don't do that." And I asked him why, because that was shit. A 4-year-old asked like 700 questions in a day, I think, on average, some crazy shit like that. Go for it, man. Candy's here to be eaten. I'm not going to eat it. So we sat down. My grandfather got it's called lumpy milk in my family, but you put ice cream in a cup and you pour milk over it and you eat it with a spoon. And he said, "This is how it goes." And he told me about the law of diminishing return. He told me you can only hurt something so much before it breaks. That's true for everything. And at the time, I thought he was only talking about physical things.
No, it's relationships too.
That is a rule that I've carried over towards people, because you can only abuse your friends so much before they break. You can only abuse your partner so much before they break. You can only abuse yourself so much before you break. And it's because of that we need to take those self-help days, those self-care days, and love yourself and move on and take care of the things around you. I've got fucking furniture from like 1930. I have in my possession a table owned by George Washington because my family, Joel Pratt, my great, like 45 greats grandfather, was a carpenter for George Washington while he was in the military. So I have the military desk. I have that. Now that's the story my family told me. I don't know if it's true or not. There's actually a little bit of truth to that because Joel Pratt was actually given a commendation by George Washington. We have the paperwork and everything. So we know that he knew him personally.
Mm-hmm.
We know that he was a carpenter. We know that the table was a present to someone for sure.
What?
The story is that it was a present to George Washington for his campaign, and that table was then given back to Joel Pratt after the war. But it's still taken care of in my family because my family has a desire not to have to go out and buy new things constantly.
Because that's more expensive in the long run, and realize it's going to, put more money into the corporate bigwigs' hands, and it's going to fuel the top 1%. Like with the whole COVID thing, everybody out rushing Walmart, rushing the major grocery stores and everything like that. But a lot of the small mom and pop grocery stores, they were left untended. And that's where I went.
Our local mom and pop store have had record high sales during this crisis because nobody's wanting to go to Walmart.
Yeah.
And they're shopping
well,
there.
No, that's the thing. Like Walmart shelves were empty. Everyone's shelves were empty. But a lot of the mom and pop places, they were left abandoned for a lot of this stuff until later into the COVID crisis.
Your regular scheduled daily COVID-19 announcement: wash your hands, wash your face, wash your people.
Fuck off with all that shit.
Sanitize.
Wash your ass, folks.
Look at immunity. We have to become immune to something for it to not be a
okay.
pandemic.
See, I believe the majority of it is fear mongering.
All right, absolutely.
Okay. I understand that people are going to get sick. Okay. I understand that. I also understand that there's like 7 billion people on the planet. It took us 2,000 years to get to 1 billion people.
Mm-hmm.
It took us 200 to get to 7 billion. Okay. We are a virus spreading
People
across
like
the world.
rabbits,
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Okay.
Anyways, going back and speaking on the law of diminishing returns, to put this in perspective for you guys, take a soda can or a bottle, crush it in your hands, throw it at a wall, pick it up and tell it you're sorry. Does it go back to the way it was before? No, it doesn't, because you guys are fucking destroying your partners, your relationships, your material belongings.
Hold on. There's another way to look at that.
The analogy I heard that I personally prefer on that one is squeeze the tube of toothpaste out onto a plate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you put it back in.
Now, there's another way to look at it, though. See, that's from a negative perspective. But envision yourself ripping up a $100 bill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that $100 bill worth the same amount ripped up as it was put together?
Technically, no, it's not,
It
because
is.
you're not able to use it anymore.
It is. It is. As long as it has the serial numbers and you can still read it. Now, there's a point of no return.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you can be broken. You can be taped back together. You can be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You'll never be going back to the way you were when you were freshly minted. But I don't believe in going to the grave freshly minted. I'm going to wear myself out. I'm going to fuck. Yeah. I'm going to
look
get
like
fucked.
shit.
I'm going to look like absolute shit, but I'm going to live my life and have the experience and benefit of that to pass on to the children that me and my wife are going to have.
Hold on. A says, technically not a single
Yes.
bill or coin we have
That's
is worth
true.
anything, but we treat it like it has value.
We won't get into all of that, but I completely agree.
That's absolutely true. I'm
Yes.
arguing a little bit of semantics here and using the analogy to express
it has value because humans place that value.
intrinsic value on it.
Yeah.
I find more value in a relationship than I do in a monetary or physical possession.
Yes.
Because I can physically feel it. I can watch it grow. It's like plants. Okay, I love plants. For those of you who don't know, I have an extensive coronavirus carnivorous plant collection.
I'm just picturing him coughing and hacking and shit.
But I have an extensive carnivorous plant collection. I have several succulents and I love. I love actually. Okay, if you want to see them, I'll post them on the Facebook page. Some of them are in hibernation right now, so we've got to wait for summer to kick in a little bit more before they come back. But there is a Reddit site called. Hold on, let me give them a shout out real quick. I want to say this right so you guys find it. It is.
For those of you who don't know him, he's like the plant guru. Everything
yes.
is plants.
I do like my plants.
It's because he can't have a child right now because his wife has blocked that child.
All right, so
my own theories.
there's a Reddit page called Savage Garden. Okay. This page, they actually let you buy and sell carnivorous plants on this page. There's a lot of beautiful carnivorous plants. It's something that you guys, if you want to get into it, you need to take it seriously because they'll die really easily. They're like fucking children. So, except the only difference is the government doesn't know you have them.
No social security numbers.
This right here is my thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never actually paid for a prostitute.
Hold on.
That's
So go back up to that comment. Friday kind of guy says, LMAO, I bet that's what he tells a prostitute when she's like, it's time to pay up. I find more value in relationships.
Hold on, I've dated some hoes. I'm not gonna lie, okay?
Oh goodness.
Yeah. Fuck you.
My
So-
husband just showed a picture of what a bottom's apartment looks like, and it's filled with plants.
And it just so happened.
Okay, so both of these men in my life, I know there is a level of bisexuality. My husband put a number on it earlier, which was 46%.
I'd
Corey,
say like,
I say is a good 20,
I
25.
would say like 15. Like I'm gonna be honest, I'd say about 15. Okay, because I can recognize a good-looking man. All right, and I can be like, he's very well defined, very well proportioned. I bet he fucks like a god. That's about 15% because I'm not gonna
All
actually
right,
follow
and
through.
in my
Whereas
experience,
I am
hold
like,
on.
I wanna see what you
In my experience, the guys that are, really well built together, they don't fuck well. No, it's the daddy bodies.
My wife said the same thing about men of the land. She said farmers didn't fuck
No,
well.
they don't. They want missionary.
It's totally true though.
They don't. Okay, so farmers, they're like, I want you in missionary because it's God's way. It's the one that's
Yeah.
written about in the Bible. This is how
we
we
need
must
to look in
procreate.
each other's eyes to consummate the marriage. I can see
Fuck
that.
that. I'm like, fuck me, doggy, smack my ass, and call me Mr. Pickles.
I kiss her with my eyes open.
God, oh, don't fucking kiss anybody with your goddamn eyes open.
My wife
Freaks
and I
me
do
the
that.
fuck out.
My wife and I do that. But we do
Freaks her
that.
the fuck out.
We do that to see who's going to get uncomfortable first, which is
He's making like the most godly, ungodly faces right now.
But we do. Okay, we find someone that you can do weird shit with. all
Okay,
right?
so if you're gonna hook up with me, you've got a 9 out of 10 chance of being successful if you have cheesy game, a dad bod, and are great with kids.
It's so good that we're not attracted to each other. 'Cause
Right.
That is like
Yeah,
cheesy
That's how I got you to
motherfucker.
marry
Yeah.
me.
I'm a cheesy motherfucker.
and that's
like-
that's the majority of women. Be good with kids.
I've never
Be-
understood that.
Be amazing. Have a dad bod from hell, like rock the shit and have that
See, that's-
confidence to like strut around completely naked in front of everybody and be like, I don't give a shit. It's my house.
It's my fucking house. Okay, here's the thing. I literally got dressed like 5 minutes before you guys got here because I'm like, you know what? If they show up before noon, fuck them. They're gonna see me naked.
Yep,
And
I've done that.
Because I know you guys just walk into my house.
I went the other night and just sat on my back porch naked. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
It's my fucking
What are they gonna do? It's my fucking house. If you want to see old wrinkly man balls, take a look. I'll fucking stretch that shit out for you.
You
I'll
know-
bat wing your
I
face.
sat on my back porch. And, you. What are you gonna do?
My husband has described sitting naked on his porch, smoking a joint. He doesn't care.
Ooh. No, it's okay. Wow, we've covered so many topics today.
Yeah,
Um,
and we're about out of time.
We are almost out of time.
Basically,
that's-
men. Okay, so final thoughts on everything. Let's get into the final thoughts.
Okay, final thoughts. Guilty until proven innocent. Always cover your ass. CYA.
Oh, absolutely.
If you get pulled over, fucking record it. Because as a man, if you're dealing with the cops as a man, you're already going to be, looked at as guilty party. They're actually taken two exactly the same crimes, put them side by side, one committed by a woman, one committed by a man. The man gets like 10 years, woman gets 2 months probation, and they go about their way.
And
Actually,
also, stop with that. Stop enabling other women to treat men or to treat other women like shit.
that's a hard one. See, it's hard for other people to take a stance on someone else's viewpoint because we've been taught that it's wrong to question.
Fuck
Okay.
that. Question everything. Be accountable for yourself and hold other people accountable for their own actions and words.
What I really wish for the human race is to build each other up and stop looking down on others. Whether you're poor, whether you're a minority, whether you're white or black, fuck it. It doesn't matter. That's
We're
not
all-
something that matters. If you treat me like shit, I'm gonna treat you like shit
Yeah.
because you're an asshole. That's why I don't
See,
like you.
I
I'm not
don't
gonna like
treat
you for some-
I don't treat other people. If they treat me poorly, that just means they don't deserve a place in my life. Therefore, I will never speak to them again.
Right. Okay. Now I
I
agree
will
with that.
never lower myself to the standards of treating another person harshly or improperly.
I'll always attempt to de-escalate a situation if
Mhm.
I feel like de-escalation is the best way to go. But you can't always de-escalate. It's kind of like,
Oh God, hold on. No, think about this. Okay, so do you remember that that huge protest we had a few years ago when we were protesting the racist billboards and the sign of everything? I walked over. My kindness said, "This man looks thirsty." I walked over to Billy Roper and handed him a bottle of water. He refused to take it, but that is still my kindness in the face of adversity.
But that's how you fight hate.
You have to take a pragmatic approach and say, how can I make this situation better? While I know the guy is a piece of shit and he stands for everything that I'm against, I still approached him with love.
Okay. There was a bakery in Colorado refused to bake a cake for a gay wedding. Okay.
I remember that.
I understand that it's a shitty way to do someone. I get it. However, escalating the situation by suing them, saying that they were, unjustly, whatever, they have their own beliefs, respect them.
Yeah.
Okay, respect their beliefs, whether they're right or wrong. It's about respecting them as a human being.
Go to somebody who can serve your cause better. Don't negatively influence another person's day or another person's life, imposing improper jurisdiction, I can't even remember that word right now. I'm having a total brain fart. Forcing law to serve your purpose. What we need to do as humans is stand up against law by having people going to people who serve our purpose for us. Which means, so this bakery won't do my cake. But Bill and Ted down the road, guess what? They will, and they'll make it fucking amazing, and they'll make it flawless, and there won't be that forced forced thing, which it's not going to be a great cake, because you had the law step in, you sued the shit out of them, and they're probably going to spit in your shit. They're probably going to jack off and have Jose from down the block shit in your fucking cake. Like, seriously.
I mean, that's how every professional wedding cake I've ever had tastes like.
What, like shit?
Yeah.
Dude, I've had some good wedding cakes.
The best cakes I've ever had were like grandma made the wedding cake.
Yeah, little old
lady. Mom made the wedding cake. Like,
fuck yeah,
made the wedding cake.
Go to family. Go to the people that are going to put that value and that care into your life.
It may not look good, but that's not the point. The point at a wedding isn't to look good. It's about having fun. Let me tell you, like mine and my wife's wedding, we spent, I think, like $2,000. That includes everything: the dress, the venue, the cards. Like $2,000 is what we spent because we didn't want to spend any more. We didn't find it important to spend money on that kind of thing. We wanted to put it out to our family to just come hang out, have a good time, party. And me and my wife were only there for like an hour, like literally the ceremony. We did a few things, and then I'm like, all right, bye guys. And we left and we fucked because that was
no. Okay, so I'm gonna put this out there. He only left quickly and fucked because I handed him a card with cash in it on his wedding day that says, we had a bet that he wouldn't be able to have sex on his wedding day because the wedding days are fucking exhausting. So we had that bet. I hand him the card with half the cash in it. It said, all right, you'll earn the other half when you prove the deed.
We're not gonna get into that. It
was hilarious. He earned the other half of the money though.
All right, let me explain. My wife was a virgin until we got married.
But everybody knows that. Everybody that has ever turned
some people are like, oh my God, she was a virgin? Yes, she was a virgin. Yes, we got married when we were like 26. Fuck, I don't know.
Fuck, how old are you now?
I'm turning 30 this year.
26. God damn it, man, I'm old. So are you. Fuck.
So yeah, she was
30 is not old.
We got married.
35 is not old. 40 is not old.
Okay, I've known him long enough.
You're not old. Hold on. You're not old until you have to take ED medication or go on heart medication because of an improper lifestyle.
We better start taking those baby aspirins to help out with the heart.
Yeah.
Cut that heart disease risk. Anyway, no, she was a virgin until we got married. She did have very negative experiences with her boyfriends in the past. The very few boyfriends that she did have. And the 4 years that we spent dating each other, getting to know each other, was a big part of that. The reason why we didn't have sex is because she didn't feel comfortable with it. She felt devalued as a person thought that she didn't deserve someone who was going to love her. And I'm not that kind of person. I'm like, you're going to accept my love. You're going to fucking like it and sit down and love me. Like, I don't do that. I don't deserve bullshit because I know that it's not your fault. I know someone in your past told you that you are less than human.
Exactly.
And you believed them because it was happened so much and so often that it affected you on a very base level. That hurts me. That hurts it hurts me because I love her so much and I see the value that she has. And someone devalued her to herself.
Right.
And she still does that today.
And see, that is a huge thing. And like, I don't want to get into that towards the end of the podcast, but I know you've mentioned a lot, the whole, she constantly says, I'm sorry for things.
Yeah.
I do that.
Yeah.
Because
someone somewhere told you
I've
you
been
didn't have
through exactly. I've been in situations in my past
where we've already been on for 2 hours. I'm not worried about
I dealt
it a
with
little bit longer.
But
I still, to this day, that still fucks with me.
I know it fucks with you. It fucks with you because you feel like they were right. They told you that they were right.
And that is a hard thing to break.
From someone you trusted.
Right. And that even now, even being in an amazing fucking marriage, it's a hard thing to break.
But see, that's where self-love and
right. And that is a big thing, especially with men, is and like I was saying towards the beginning of the podcast, taking like a self-care day. God, it's still, even now, I feel guilty doing things like that sometimes because
you shouldn't feel guilty because everybody needs that self-care. Everybody has wants and needs, and that's why I'm in a polyamorous relationship because I realize that I have certain needs that you cannot meet. I cannot meet certain needs that you have.
That doesn't value you as a husband.
Right. And see, ultimately that comes back to that male mindset of I need to go to work, spend time with my family. I need to be everything for everyone. And to hell with myself.
No. Yeah. See, this is what I'm meaning. Value yourself above all. Take that time for you. Do what you need to do. Do what makes you happy. Serve your own purpose and fill your cup before you can help anybody else fill their own cup.
Right. But like I said, I think that is a hard thing to get to and to not stop yourself from doing.
Well, it's definitely something that's going to need to be done more in society because people are so busy filling everybody else's cups.
Right.
And filling that 1%.
You can't fill up someone's cup if you're empty yourself.
Exactly.
And I've known people who have been through that, who have been like, man, I've got, all this shit on my plate. I just need this time, but I've got to get all of this other shit done first before I can even consider. And then by the time it gets to that point, you got 100 more things on your plate.
No.
Okay. And I think that's actually the beginning of hoarding behavior. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because when you put too much on your plate, you can't get one thing done because you have too many tasks.
Yeah. Right. And you're just running around
trying to bury yourself in tasks, which will ultimately lead to hoarding behavior in the end. And that's something that I have not personally experienced, but I know someone who has.
Yeah.
You do too.
Well,
you both do.
Yeah, I remember my stepdad was like that all the time. He's like, no, I've got to get this done. No, I've got to get this done. I've got to get this done.
And nothing ever got done.
He never took time for himself.
Yeah. And then he got overwhelmed. And
his marriage burned out because he didn't take that time
for
himself. And they were too busy, when they did finally take the time, to have affairs and stuff that went on. And it was awful. Instead of being open and honest about, somebody's needs, you just go have an affair.
Yeah, I think that actually, while we're at this point, this junction, I think we need to also touch up on not only self-love, but relationship love.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a certain point where you as a couple just need to fucking leave.
Right.
Get out of the fucking state. Whatever state you're living in, leave. If it's bad enough, get out of the fucking country. Take a cruise.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
You need to change the pace. You need to go back to just nothing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it's like taking a test. Or if you get stumped on a question, if you push everything out of your mind, count to 10, take some deep breaths, and then reread the question and go at it, your mind is quicker to achieve it. It's like resetting the laptop.
I was just about to say that, like with this last weekend that we spent, just you and I, no phones, all that.
Yeah. Oh, when me and Katie go on our vacation,
it was amazing. It was like a reset button mentally.
Well, I still had my phone worse for some communication.
Well, okay, while you were on your vacation, there were some emergencies, and I felt so bad that I had to involve you in that.
It didn't devalue my time with my husband.
It did not.
It didn't devalue
but
my experience.
It changed some plans around a little
Right.
bit, but ultimately we still had that time together.
Yeah.
Right. I felt bad. I know I had no bearing on it at all, and it wasn't my fault.
You know,
It was just I know how much you guys wanted that time alone with each other. And I'm not the kind of person who interrupts that kind of thing. Okay. I'm very much like, they're off on their own. Cut your shit. You can talk to them on Monday.
I know you've yelled at me a lot for trying to contact my kids.
Yes, I get
Yes, that annoys you. Thank you.
No, it's okay. I understand you're a mother. Okay, I get it. I know how my mom was. But if you're off giving yourself self-love
Mm-hmm.
and you're refilling your cup, you can't be worried about that. You entrusted them to me. You know that they'll be healthy when you come back.
Yeah.
I might break the rules a little bit.
They might be full of sugar.
And pay them some money. They might spend that money on sugar. Okay. Because
that is exactly what they've spent all of that money on.
Yeah.
It's candy. Everybody.
I bet.
And
But see,
Pokemon cards.
that was kind of my point. Like, I paid them because I'm trying to teach them the value of money. I might be a drunk uncle to them. Okay. But there is a value in money and knowing to save it so you can get what you want or just spending it outright. And the best way to do that is to pay them for the work that they do. And they worked hard.
Yeah.
They really did. And you know what? If you can.
You see, I don't ever pay my children because I'm a firm believer they live in this house. You know, yes, they were brought into this house by my choices and my husband's choices.
Right.
However, they're still a valued member of the family. Therefore, you do not get paid to live.
Right.
Yeah.
I use money. Okay. I use money.
I'm not
in
going to pay
manipulation.
grandma to fucking knit shit.
Yeah, right.
It's like, okay, if you pay someone for their blood to use their hospital, very few people will donate blood anymore because they're getting paid for it. You remove the guilt. Okay. So fewer people donate blood if they're getting paid for it. But if you say, oh, donate blood for free, more people will donate because there is a mentality of, oh God, I feel guilty.
This is a selfless thing that I'm doing.
Yes. Okay. So removing money or introducing money into a situation changes the outcome. And that's what I did to your kids. Like, I manipulated the fuck out of your kids the entire weekend. I want to let you know, like, there was no point in time where they weren't being manipulated in some way.
I know.
That oldest one.
And that right there is why I love you as a manny.
That oldest one's a little.
Yeah, but
easier. He's easier than you would think.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I didn't have to manipulate him near as much.
Yeah.
I actually taught him a few tricks and tips on how to manage the younger two.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's important.
Okay. All right. Well, those are our closing thoughts for today.
Oh, shit. That's closing thoughts?
Yeah.
But we got on off an entirely different subject.
Yeah. So, all right.
2:20.
Thank you guys for everyone that helped participate in the comments, who tried to call in. I'm sorry for the technical
Are we
difficulties.
going to be able to go back to our regular schedule next week?
We are, I believe, we'll be back on Tuesdays and Thursdays next week,
Okay.
and that's where we usually are. And today is a little bit longer of a podcast than normally because we missed Tuesday and Thursday because of my work schedule, because I literally never got off work that entire week. So this weekend is all about self-care and self-love for me.
We will.
And anyways, so stop closing thoughts for me. Stop devaluing our men. Stop devaluing and pitting each other against everyone.
Devaluing people in general.
Exactly. And stop demonizing men for showing emotion. Stop.
Right. Well, okay. All right.
Take the negatives out of everything
so much I
and
can
Okay, I'm
say.
going to walk away.
And
because
approach-
There's about 400 things I could say on that.
I know.
Get this
Me too. I
rolling
like
again.
maybe start rolling right over again.
Why- okay,
There may need
if
to be a
if you
part-
guys
No, there may need to be
if
a
you
part
guys need to
two
talk,
on
we
this.
can take it a little longer. It's not a big
Okay.
thing. We're here.
All
Like,
right,
take
I know
it.
what
Good one. Okay, sticking point with me.
Come a little closer to the
sticking
mic.
point with me personally as a parent. Okay, as a single dad, especially.
You know, you're not single anymore,
No.
but you were.
And I was at one point for a while. You want to piss a dude off? You want to make him feel like, just shit?
Call him a
Walk up-
babysitter.
Yep. walk up to a dude with his own children in a store and say, "Oh, I see you're babysitting."
Yeah. Men are not babysitters. They're fucking parents.
Hold on. See, okay.
That
Fathers
literally grated on me. Still to this
Yeah.
day, I still catch that sometimes. I'm like,
fathers
"Fuck
are
you."
considered second-class citizens. Maybe not by law, but by society.
No,
Okay.
even by law, because 9 times out of 10, the mother is preferred.
Yes.
Although there is-
Over
yes.
custody.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you that.
There are some judges that are bleeding that are very heavy on 50-50.
That's okay. And
joint
here's the thing.
custody.
That's why I do support MGTOW in some regards.
I can never support an extremist
Hold on.
group of
Remind me what that is
any.
again.
MGTOW is
men
the
going their own way.
Yes, okay.
Okay, you understand? Okay, like I said, in some regards, just hold up. I understand that it is an extremist group. I'm not saying it's not. Okay, it is in just about every single way. However, it's gotten to the point to where we have been pushed into a corner to develop such a group to where people are literally, or men are dropping relationships because they've been cheated on, lied to. The house has been taken. The kids have been taken.
Right.
They have nothing left of their life that they once had, that they built with their own 2 fucking hands. And they're kicked out on the street, even though she didn't do shit the entire relationship. And she stayed at home and she laid on the couch and she didn't do anything. But as soon as he decided he wasn't okay with it, she went and took the kids and the house, and he got nothing.
Well,
So I understand why there's men just walking away from relationships, because a marriage is a very dangerous thing for a man today. Okay, when we sign those papers, we know that there is a good chance
we're gonna lose half our
we're
shit.
going to lose half
At least
or
half
all of
our
it,
shit.
at least half of our shit. Okay, and then you talk like everybody's upset because Johnny Depp's getting alimony. Fuck her.
yeah.
Okay, that's
No,
not how
I
it
got
works.
child support
Okay,
for a
so
while.
so
Yeah,
I don't believe in alimony or child support.
I don't. either.
And let me explain real quick why I don't believe in alimony. Because once that relationship is done, it needs to be severed completely. There doesn't need to have that, string holding on, controlling somebody or controlling their wallets. Period. I just cannot support that. And same reason why I cannot support child support. It's like that it is up to that man or to that woman, whomever is paying child support, to be in that child's life.
Right.
If
Yeah,
they're
you shouldn't have to have a court order for that shit.
you
And
should
if
be a
do,
parent.
You're not worth being in that child's life.
Exactly. And if you're not willing to be in that child's life, either financially or emotionally, supporting physically or
Yeah.
financially,
Yeah,
you
whatever, it doesn't matter.
don't be in that
Supporting
child's life if you're incapable of it. But don't have a law requiring that happen, because that's just going to damage that child more. In the long run.
There's a lot more about this stuff. There's men who do care about their kids, who do try to financially support them. But the woman got it up her ass. She wanted to ruin his
And I've
life.
seen that.
But
So
not only
she
that,
gets
or
him. Hold on. She gets him to lose his job, and now he's working at fucking Wendy's because she called the cops on him. Now he's got charges, and he lost his
Yeah.
6-figure job, and now he's working for minimum wage because that's the only place that'll fucking hire him. But she's still requiring him to pay the amount that was originally agreed on.
yeah.
So now he's going to jail every fucking weekend and losing
Or-
shit.
Yeah.
Or those, women, and in some cases also men, but it's women who are holding that child hostage and refusing
Yes.
to allow the parent
Children
to.
are not a fucking game piece.
No, there's something to be cherished
And I'm
and
speaking
loved.
on behalf of a child who was
Wow.
used as a fucking game piece. Okay?
Yeah.
We are not hostages. We are people. We need to be treated as such.
And they
loved.
need
That's
to
it.
have those relationships
think-
from the family as a
Well,
whole.
Send
See,
us-
I
I
was
think-
banned with, I was banned from knowing my father. So I've literally never met my father. And that has dramatically,
right.
I'm a fucking latchkid key raised, by a
See-
single abusive mother. It was hard. My mom played those fucking mind games, and she told me stories of how racist and how abusive what he was and all this, but I didn't know that for a fact
And see,
because
I
I
don't
never
agree with that
experienced
either.
that.
Okay, as to
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
as to what
And
you were
that's
saying
so fucked up to do for
about
your kids.
children are not pawns. They're absolutely not.
No.
What I don't think a lot of people take into consideration there is a lot of people just treat their kids like second class people anyway. They're
They
fucking
do.
tiny human. They're tiny adults.
They have
Okay.
values,
the
they have
exact same
opinions, they
feelings,
have
opinions,
emotions.
exactly as anybody else.
Children are untapped potential.
Mhm.
They are potential without a focus or a path. And it's about putting them on that path and focusing that potential. They
Right.
can learn anything. They can do anything.
Oh, absolutely. You just
anything.
got to encourage that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. My godson, I'm just going to brag on my godson for a little bit. All right. Yeah, they are little tiny demons. Actually, my godson for the longest time was a little midget that constantly walked around, ate all my food, and pissed on
Got to
everything.
throw this out there. Actually, know a little kid named Damien that looks like the kid that was in The Omen. Fucking kid I've ever met in my life.
My godson had a lot of potential when he was young. Like, just like every other child.
Yeah.
Okay, he had a lot of potential. His father, he cultivated it. He focused it. My godson, he's 14. He's actually he's like a 15-time national gold jiu-jitsu champion, like gold medal jiu-jitsu champion. Every time he goes in, he kicks ass. Okay, and he's great at it. He's so good at it. It's wonderful.
It's we as parents need to learn how to focus that potential.
Right. My mother focused on mine and my brother's mentality and our intelligence. She taught us to think for ourselves. Okay. Now that did bite her in the ass a lot of the time. Because she ended up raising two kids who were smarter than her.
Yeah.
Okay. And that did bite her in the ass a lot of the time.
But she raised
us.
two amazing people that I can argue with at will and love it.
And as to what you were saying, your mom telling you, all the time that your dad was shit on
Yeah.
stuff. As someone who's been through a similar situation, it's not always a lie.
Yeah.
Look
No,
at
I know it's not always a
my
lie.
circumstances on that. I don't know why I'm talking about my hands. You guys can't see me,
Yeah.
but I do that.
Anyway, same thing.
My personal circumstances. My biological father was very abusive. Him and my mother split up. I was actually kidnapped by my grandmother as a child. And anyway, I was brought up, your dad's an asshole and stuff.
See, I don't agree with that.
Here's the thing, though. I didn't. I fought that. I rebelled against that when I was in my early 20s. I sought my dad out. Come to find out, everything I was told was completely fucking true.
He is
Right.
a manipulative, abusive asshole,
But
and he doesn't. He hates me.
I wish I would have rather known nothing.
That's where I'm getting at.
Been
Yeah.
able to form my own opinion, because coming into it with that
You're jaded.
With that notion of, okay, he's going to be a dick. I mean, there's a chance that had he not been an asshole, I would have overlooked that and automatically thought he was an asshole regardless of what he did.
Here's like my mother. When it came to my father, she never talked bad about him ever, and kids noticed that. My godson, his mother ended up passing when he was about 9, and she was not a good mom. The first time I met her, I had just moved in with my friend. I would later become like his son's godfather. And I say that in the sense that legally he said that if anything happened to him, I would be able to take his son and raise him as my own. And that meant a lot to me. And we are still very good friends. We've always been very good friends. My godson was in diapers at the time, and his ex-wife showed up. She had never met me before. I was in the house, and she knocked. I opened the door. She literally handed me the kid and goes, "Here he is," and then left. Didn't ask who I was. Just handed me her fucking child and walked away. Now, for me, I'm like, oh, no, red flag. Like, I knew who he was. Okay.
Okay, so we have some comments rolling in from Herbal Society. She says, yes, it can go both ways. It's like people who speak on my dad, but they were wrong. He was such a kind, sweet soul going through illness. Mm-hmm. So definitely think it's best to get to know them for yourself, and don't only rely on people's words. And that's true. And don't take the option away from that child to know,
to reconnect later on.
Yeah. Right. Not only to reconnect, but to know, unless there are two main things: extreme abuse and sexual abuse. And like either way, it falls under abuse.
I'm a survivor of both.
And abuse and hardcore drugs.
Yes.
Not marijuana, not joint every once in a while.
That too. I wasn't the one on them.
Yeah.
But like I had a very bad childhood when it came to anything revolving around my father.
Yeah.
My mother, on the other hand, sweetest, kindest
Your
woman.
fucking awesome.
I love
She
Anna.
is. I love my mom too. I was blessed.
I'm gonna steal your mom one day.
You know what? She played me
I will
anyway.
trade you.
No, okay, so I call Anna, like everybody else. I explain who Anna is. It's Anna, but when I greet her, it's mom or ma.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
she's
She's a
my
mother.
adopted mom.
She is.
Yeah.
She's straight like
She's like the neighborhood mom that gives everybody spaghetti and
That's
Kool-Aid.
exactly who she was. Like everybody came over to her house. She
Yeah,
always,
you show up here, you're eating food.
Yeah.
that's my grandma too. Like my grandmother, my mother. Like there was always
And that's a good thing to be.
it
be
was a safe
that.
place.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
okay.
I've
So
always
that's
tried to be
one
that.
thing
I've
also
always
that I
tried to be that
really
with
really want to get at is with your children, especially recognize your own toxicity and break away from your own toxicity. It's hard to recognize that your own toxic behavior sometimes, but there are steps you can take, especially when practicing nonviolent communication, that you can see your own manipulative traits and your own toxic behaviors and slowly back away
Yeah,
from those to reevaluate the
Change is
situation.
good. Quick change is not good.
No,
absolutely.
it is going to take years process, but ultimately you're going to be that safe space for your partners, for your kids, for your friends. You need
For your
friends.
your kids'
Yeah.
friends.
Like seriously, one of my Zach's friends, one of my children,
talk a little
Yeah.
louder.
one of my kids' friends actually talked to me quite a bit about some stuff that was going on in his house
Yeah.
that he had not spoken to anyone about. Because you kind of you got to build that up.
And we don't even
This is a safe
realize the
space.
amount of
Yeah.
abuse that goes on with other children, even in well-off families.
Whatever you see in public is 100 times worse behind closed
Oh,
doors.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
as one of those kids who's behind those closed doors, I can honestly, I can tell you that when you are seeking help and you can't find it, it is devastating
It is.
because you have no power to change what's going on.
Oh yeah,
You just find ways to survive.
right.
And
And
that's
that
why
means-
it's so important to empower your children.
Absolutely.
Exactly. It really
Praise,
is.
praise
It
your
really
children,
is.
lift them up, find and harness their potential.
Yeah,
My voice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you find one of your kids is really good at something, encourage them.
Yeah, shit. Well, what
God,
was it?
encourage them.
What was it?
But
they
don't
called this?
encourage it so much that it becomes a forced behavior.
No, don't.
Like, don't take the joy out of it for
Right.
them.
No. But do it with them. That's the one.
Yes.
Kids love
God,
structure.
yes.
They love being with their parents. They love doing things with me and my mom have a scheduled day every week where she comes to my place and we sit, we drink, we watch something on the TV, we talk about our week.
And I love that.
That's
Yeah, and there's a lot of times that she does it on some of the podcast days, and she gets to
Yes.
sit into the podcast as well. And and a lot of the viewers or the listeners have really commented and shown a lot of positive feedback for
one
Anna.
of the biggest ones. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get into this a little bit. One of the biggest ones that she said that you guys liked was the teaching her sons how to date. Okay, and by that she literally would have me and my brother take her out on a date, and it was to teach us how to treat a woman with respect and dignity, and what to expect throughout a date.
It's
And
not. That's just amazing quality time for parents. and
yes,
child.
Very much
it
so,
really
very
is.
much
Like
so.
there was times where we would.
Herbal Society says great lesson for my son.
Yeah,
It really is. And that goes the same thing for daughters too. It's not teach them how to date, but don't date them.
I miss my.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
Don't. What I mean by that is don't encourage or
Well, no,
set up
it's-
a way with a predator's mindset. And there's a lot of women out there
Right.
to mold the
It's-
perfect husband for you,
It's
God,
about-
that kills me.
Yeah.
or mold the perfect wife for you.
It's honestly, it was just about teaching us how to act with respect, dignity, and honor. It was, and that's really what it was. She taught us like these are the things that a real woman will expect on a date. And
Right.
And what
at the time, I really didn't think it was true.
Get it? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get it. As an adult who started going on dates
Yeah,
with
like,
women,
oh.
that gave me
Oh,
my
yeah,
defining like red flag moments where I'm
Yeah.
like, this she's a straight up bitch.
Yeah.
There was a few times I left them at their house. I didn't even go on the date with them because they were such a bitch.
Yeah.
And I would leave. And yes.
Sorry, I'm just thinking. I've met
Right.
some of your exes.
Right. Okay.
How did that even get off the ground?
Yeah, exactly. Well, see, that's the thing. You've met my exes, but they were good in the interim. They weren't good in the long run.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
I got you.
Like at the start of the date, it was very upbeat and happy, and we would go out and we would have that fun time with each other. You know, I would take them back. I didn't expect anything. I wanted to get to know them as a person because I was looking for my wife.
Yeah. See, so that's what you just said a minute ago. They were good in the beginning, but they weren't good in the long run. That is something that I struggle to work with daily because of my own toxic traits that I have to reflect on and see. And I have a lot of fucking toxic traits.
We all do.
Yeah,
Everybody
we
does.
absolutely. And I've got a lot that comes, from my sexual abuse and my childhood trauma and my origin story that, really trying to break free from. And so I think everybody needs to work on being good for yourself and good for your partners
but
in the
that
long
helps
run.
out other people that you don't intend for it to help.
No, it
out,
absolutely
and that's
does.
the point.
All right. So there's a Trump train in the
That's
comments.
fine. That's fine. But no, the majority of what my mother taught me was.
Sorry, we had to block our first guest here. We're
Yeah,
good.
I appreciate conversation, not spam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's like, you know what? That's a rule. New rule. It'll be on the Facebook page. I'm going to be posting a set of rules for the comments.
Yeah,
Conversation is
spam
fine.
shit, go away.
Talking amongst yourselves is fine. Spam, not okay. And there's a very easily determinable way to know what
That's
spam and what's
obviously
not. Okay.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
We're trying to have a discussion about how to improve the world, not and find actual viable ways to do it, not just discuss the problem. It's about actually finding a way to improve yourself, those around you, and ultimately the world. Okay.
Right.
Small. Start small in your community. Start with yourself. Start with the people around you.
Start with your children too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We're
Start with
making-
yourself and your children, 100% on that.
Yeah.
We're making a new generation. These are people who are going to be elected officials.
Yeah.
Start by teaching them how to communicate, how to respect one another. That was the biggest lesson my mom taught me.
How to inspire greatness from those around them.
Right. Like my mom taught me, okay, and this is 100% legit, that when I did get married, okay, it wasn't all about her.
Mhm.
It's okay to be selfish in a relationship.
And it is.
It's okay to take what you need.
That's the whole
Exactly.
point.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to focus on any relationship.
And-
sorry. to cut you off.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Like, add to it.
Like, that whole thing, I see things all the time online. A relationship is 50-50.
No, it's not.
No, sometimes that shit is 99-1. Sometimes it's 50-50. Sometimes it's 60-40.
Right, but
You
see,
know?
it goes back to the point where you might be that 1% one day, and they're the 99.
Exactly.
It's about coming together to help each other, okay? And when you're having a bad day, like
Exactly.
my wife has had a bad week.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's like me last week. I was a total just shit show.
Yeah.
For what, 3-4 days?
Okay, well, for the past few weeks, you've been a bit of a shit show.
Yeah.
I want to say for pretty much for the past 2 months or so, you've been a little bit of a shit show.
The majority of it, though,
And
is,
I've had to kind of swallow my own shit and what I'm dealing with just to be able to help you deal with what you're going through and
Right,
reassure
right.
you. And
but you held true to your duties as a wife,
yes.
okay? While he was lacking. And he might have been lacking for a little bit, but I know that there are points when you are lacking
Oh,
in your duties
absolutely.
as a wife, and he comes back with his duties as a husband. And it's about constantly
Right.
coming back and having the conversation to support each other.
Oh, okay. We
son of a
have
bitch.
another person doing the same thing. All right,
Please.
hold on. There's a spammer. Let me block that person too. So if
I'm
we're gonna
sorry,
start
guys.
getting spammers,
let me
no
plug this
chump
in.
trains, please.
It's not even about the politics. I don't know what this is about. Okay.
It's just some
I don't
spam,
care if
spam.
you
All right, hold on. Just
Okay. So what was the last thing above that?
Yeah, that was what I was. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're voting for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's the part of the Trump train.
Okay. Okay, look. We'll discuss politics at a later date. Okay.
I'll gladly discuss politics all day long.
I don't.
But not right now.
Okay, we're not discussing politics. When we discuss politics and you have something viable to add to the conversation, I have no problem with that. Okay, I don't care if you want to fucking elect Hitler. I really don't give a shit. That's your opinion. Okay, if you want to elect Trump again,
But
I
if
don't
you're
care.
gonna be
That's
a
your
dick
opinion.
about it, I'm
If
gonna
you want
fucking block
Biden
you.
or fucking a magician to be the next president. I don't give a
I'm
shit.
gonna vote for Richard Simmons. He's
What
still
I-
alive, right?
What I care
I'm gonna
about,
vote for the boot head. What is his name?
Vernon Supreme.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I love
I
You
want
guys-
voting.
He's eccentric enough, and I want a horse.
God.
Damn it!
All right.
All right, guys. Well, we're getting spammed like
That's
crazy
all
today.
right.
So
I can no. I'm gonna do this. We're actually on a good point. I'll just continuously block them.
we're at 2.5 hours. So let's go ahead and close out the topics today.
The topic has evolved through many
It
things.
has.
We discussed men's rights. We discussed police brutality. We've discussed everything up until the point. Now we're talking about parents raising their children. Unfortunately, yeah, it might be pointless. It might be pointless, but I'll continuously block. I don't give a shit. Like, I have a band hammer and I'll swing that shit for days. Okay? I don't care. The point of this entire discussion, the point of the entire podcast is to have hard conversations about hard topics, discussing ways to better ourselves and others. And I'm not going to be someone who deals with spam. I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'll block all day long. I've got all the fucking time. Okay? Like, I got that kind of time. I'll do it. While the conversation's going along, I'll keep blocking. So you guys keep having your conversation. I'll keep blocking. We were talking about parents teaching their kids how to respect others. That was one of the biggest things that my mother taught me. Okay? And it didn't just start off with, like, the faux dates. All right, it was way before that. I remember being like 4 years old, okay, and I was having a bit of an existential crisis because I just figured out that I was going to die. And
It's always a fun thing to realize.
yes, I had a bit of an issue with that, and I was crying on the bed, and she came in and she's like, "Look, it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to know that you're going to die. It will happen to me. It'll happen to everyone." And of course, that made me cry harder. And then she's like, "Look, the sun's going to explode," which made it worse. But at the end of the day, she did talk to me and she told me that, look, death is a part of life. Okay. Immortality doesn't exist. You have a long time until you die. Okay. It's what you do with your life on this planet that will affect others. That's what's important. And I'm trying to hold true to what my mother taught me, and that's affect each other or other people in a positive way.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to hold true to that.
And you do.
I also know that
Yes, you do.
You're an amazing person, an amazing
you.
friend, an amazing
try.
confidant, and you are an amazing person in general.
Thank you.
And I will back that up. Absolutely. I mean, there are very few people that I've maintained friendships with as long as I've maintained my friendship with you.
Yeah.
I've known you how many years?
Oh God, that was when I started dating.
I've known you since I was 21, dude.
Oh God,
And I'm 30 something
Man.
now. We won't.
30
discuss
something.
that.
Yeah, but
and hold on, that's another
yes,
thing. The people
It is all
who
over. Sorry, it is all over the place. But if you go back from the beginning,
yeah, no, if you go back from the beginning and listen, but really, also affecting people in a positive light. If you have
the podcast, by the way, if you go back to the beginning of the podcast and listen through the whole thing,
Yeah.
You can follow the train of thought and where we're at. Unfortunately, you kind of logged in like 2.5 hours into it. Sorry about that.
And
There's a way to set up notifications so you can join in.
Yeah.
As soon as you
There is.
start.
and,
Set
and
up
one,
a
one of the
party.
things that I was about to get on is reassurance for those around you, a way that could positively impact,
Yes.
their role in your life is constant reassurance. And I know it's hard for a lot of people, but like I just did with Kory right there, I could see it in his face. He didn't know whether or not he was living up to his mother's idea of what a positive person was. And that in those moments where you can read people, you need to reassure them in their position in your life.
Oh, very much so.
And even praise them for the positive things that they've done. Okay, there's a small tribe in Africa, actually. When somebody does something bad, they don't punish them. Instead, they do positive reinforcement.
Yes, I've
I
read
know
about
they,
that.
they hug each other.
No, they hug each other. They sit them in the middle of a circle, and everybody goes around and says all of the positive things about them and every positive thing they've done in their life. And
that's
that is so
actually
important.
so much harder than just punishment.
It is. Punishment is easy. It's like, I'm going to spank you, or I'm going to do. It's hard
I mean, you
to
bring
stay
that up.
positive.
Okay, well, I'm just going to tell this to the people on here. I watched their kids this
Thank you,
past
Ace.
weekend.
Yes, I should point out though. Typically, it's just these two. I'm not normally here.
I did watch their kids this weekend. They've got 3 wonderful children. They have asked me to watch their kids several times. And this time around, the 2 younger ones, unfortunately, what ended up happening, one of their animals got very sick. It was a cat. She was jaundiced. My wife works as a vet tech, so I called up Floy and I was like, "Hey, this is what's going on." She said, "Okay, take her to the clinic." So we took her to the clinic, and the 2 youngest ones were there. They found out that the cat was in severe liver failure and had like at the best 30% chance to make it. Now the cat's doing a lot better.
Yeah.
And after that, it kind of devolved between the 2 younger kids because they do have a underdeveloped prefrontal cortex.
Mhm.
And they,
As do all.
as do all children. All children have an underdeveloped prefrontal cortex, so they're not able to associate proper action with their feelings. So they took it out on each other. And that was something that their oldest, who's several years older than the other 2, was like, "Oh man, it's going to be like this all week long." And I said, "Watch this. I'm going to get them to be each other's best friend." He's like, "If you could do that, you're a fucking wizard." I was like, "Okay, watch
Did I actually
this."
say that?
Yes.
I can hear that.
So I grounded the 2 younger kids from each other. Okay. I used some reverse psychology to make it to where they couldn't talk to each other. And then everything was great for like 5-10 minutes because it was quiet. And then you can hear them in the back going, and they're whispering to each other because they're like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they're talking to each other. And eventually, I know it's going to devolve. One of them is going to be like, "Oh, so-and-so talked to me about da-da-da-da-da." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And the other one's going to come out of the room and like, "You said something else." And I'm like, "All right, you guys talk to each other. You violated the terms of agreement. Come here. Now's the second round of punishment." And the second round of punishment is having them stand in front of each other and tell each other something that they love about each other. Now, it doesn't start out with deep emotions. Okay, it typically starts out with like, "Oh, I love the way that you dress," or "I like the way your hair looks." It's always something small, okay? But eventually it devolves into some of them revealing their deep emotions. The youngest.
I was going to say, which one was it? You mentioned it to me.
Yeah, it was the youngest.
Yes.
The youngest finally looked at the middle child and said, I love the way we used to be friends, and I'm sad that we're not friends like that anymore." And that was part of the emotion that I was trying to draw out from the 2 children. I was trying to get them to come to terms with the fact that they're not acting like each other's friends right now because they're growing. They're changing into who they will be in the future, and they can still be each other's friends. But I manipulated the outcome because I know how I'm going to parent. Right now, we're talking about kids. We've talked about several different topics. We've just gotten onto the topic of children. We kind of weren't able to do podcasts for the last week, so we're making it up with an extra long podcast. You're 2 hours, 40 minutes in, so you're kind of coming into the back end. We will post this live so you guys can listen to it later. So,
Alright.
but
I knew he was going to do it.
Okay.
All right. So, all right, I've had it here
I'm
with
done.
spam.
Yeah, I'm now.
No. I'm not going to let him win. I'm not going to let him win.
No, we were going to be closing it out
We
anyways.
will be closing it out. Let's do it at the 3-hour mark. Okay, so we've got 20 minutes left.
That's
Yeah.
a long
I know.
mark.
20 minutes, man.
That's okay. It's okay.
Drink.
There's coffee in
Here,
there.
fill up my water.
Thank you.
So ultimately, when you're
That's
oil,
that's
Oh,
cooking
God, I
oil.
thought that was like
there is Pepsi in the fridge.
I thought you had a bottle of pee.
When it comes to parenting, my mother did manipulate me and my brother constantly, and it wasn't a negative manipulation. There's a big difference between a negative manipulation and a positive manipulation.
Oh, very much so.
No, I'm not a parent myself.
I'm a parent.
I do have
I'm
a lot of
goldfish.
I do have a lot of godchildren. I do have a lot of younger cousins. Me and my wife are about to start trying to have our own child.
Yay.
And I've babysat a lot of kids. I've worked with children. I do have a background working with kids. I found that manipulating kids is easy. Okay, but then manipulating them manipulating them in the right way,
humans in general is
it is
easy.
easy.
Yes.
Kids are easy.
But most people use negative manipulation
Right.
instead of positive.
If you're going to manipulate your kids into doing something, make sure that the outcome is one that is desirable. Okay, I manipulated the outcome between Floyd's two youngest kids to get them to realize that they both still care for each other, regardless if they yell that they hate each other constantly. It's not true. Okay, I manipulated the outcome. I know what's true. They know what's true, but they're not willing to accept that from the other person until it's said to them.
No, see,
And they're acting defensively.
And I don't know if anybody can hear me from where I'm standing right now. But the thing about that is, if you tell somebody that you hate them and it pisses them off,
Yeah.
they obviously care about what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. But that was my whole point. I wanted them to understand that they do love each other.
Oh, yes.
But the way that they talk to each other is detrimental to the overall mental health of the situation or of them. And I wanted them to just come to terms with that because they are going to be each other's best friend, whether they like it or not. Me and my brother, we did not get along very well.
You and I kind of had that conversation with.
Hey, you know what? We have 80 listeners. This is literally the highest number that we've had. Ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody, for listening so far. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ban it anyway. Like, that's just what I do. I used to be someone who ran a couple of servers. I don't put up with that, and that's just my stance on it.
Yeah. Seriously, there's no point in it, dude.
If you want to, listen, but don't spam shit, dude. That's just like, this isn't.
I'm trying. We're trying really hard not to get into the whole troll thing. I'm not trying to troll anyone. I'm trying to make the world a little bit better place. I understand fucking with somebody. I'm not opposed to that. Okay, but I also know that trolling people in some circumstances is not exactly the best thing to do. And it's about maturity. Okay, maturity is knowing when you can fuck around and when you can't.
Right.
Or when you should, rather.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm just trying to make the world a little bit better place. And if I can reach out and get people to understand just something, or at least change their point of view to something more positive, then I've done what I set out to do. I just need to change one person's life.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my goal, is to change one person's life for the better. And if I go past that, awesome. I don't want you guys to tell me if I have. I don't need that.
See, my goal in life is to positively affect everyone who comes in and out of my life, whether it's only for 10 minutes or for a lifetime. If they're not feeling positivity from me, then I failed.
See, we went over unrealistic goals.
Nah, that is very realistic. I mean, I will have my down points, but to not be constantly in a negative mindset, to always focus literally on everybody, to have that positivity, to be that therapist for everyone in my life.
I think that we've made the same goals, just in a different way. I will treat every person as the one person that I will change for the rest of their life, whereas you will treat everyone as everyone that you've ever treated to change the rest of their life. And it's not bad. Either way, I think it covers a lot of bases. And I know that it's an unattainable goal, but also an attainable goal.
It's not, I mean,
it is a paradoxical goal.
Yes, because everybody is going to be the asshole in at least one story. And I'm sure given my past before overcoming my traumas and dealing with everything emotionally and seeing my own toxicity and seeing my own toxic traits, I was the huge asshole in a lot of people's life.
Like you initially, because you were dating that narcissist, and it ultimately came down to you having to get over that.
Yeah.
And you were dealing with that at the same time you knew her.
Yeah.
As well as other people telling stories about her and her sister to get you pissed off at them and just stirring the pot.
Yeah.
See, and I'm not 100% sure what I just walked into here, but something about
life goals.
Life goals.
Life goals.
Is one of yours that nobody sees you as an asshole?
No.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
No, it's positively influencing those that are in our life.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm an asshole,
And
but
I
I'm
think
an
everyone is. What you said there. Like, I think everyone is good. Everyone's an asshole to somebody. Like,
right.
I've had people that think I'm the biggest asshole in the world, but you meet other people that like, I can't even see you being remotely like that.
I've had more people call me an asshole simply because I just say the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. I'm very blunt with the way I feel. It's just that's the way I speak to people. I don't feel like I need to lie about the way I feel or how I view something. I know that some people will misconstrue it, so I try to give the best explanation I possibly can in order for people to understand that the reason I feel a certain way is because of something in my past. And it's with that experience that I'm coming to my own conclusion. And I respect your own decision and your own point of views. Like, I'm not going to hurt somebody or judge them because they feel differently. As a matter of fact, me and you have very opposing views on a lot of stuff. And it's only been until, a few of the topics that we've actually, we're vaping. It's only been a couple of the topics that we've been discussing that we've.
No, that hacking and coughing, that was me. Not a crack pipe.
Old
No,
man
he
ones.
just has the Rona.
So
yeah.
The last couple of topics we have agreed on, but there's a lot that we haven't. Like,
and that's okay because I still value you and your opinion as a person.
Right.
And ultimately, I know that your differing views from my own will help build my character and help me in my real life.
Well, it's also opposing experience. Like, I had a very positive experience with the church. You had a very negative experience.
See, I didn't necessarily have a negative experience. I'm just a hardcore atheist.
Get into my experience with the church.
But I know you had a very bad experience with the church.
Oh,
but see,
that's the thing.
Opposing experiences.
All my experience with my churches have been rather positive with very welcoming people, and it's not a negative experience in the least. I still think they're insane though.
Right. But like I said, you still respect their belief and their ability to make their own conclusions.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, hell, you've seen me, in person when we were, when I was faced with Christianity, and you turned over. I think it was. I took the flyers and was talking to her, and you looked at me and you're like, I never would have expected that out of an atheist.
Well,
I respect.
I didn't expect it out of you because you have a very hard stance towards any religion.
Yeah.
And okay, well, a standard atheist is someone who just believes in nothing.
Yeah.
Floy is opposed to.
I am an anti-theist.
Yes.
Which is interesting because you're married to
a Catholic.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, we have opposing views.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I have opposing views in religion.
But I'm secure enough within myself that I accept opposing views from those around me.
Well, that's why we can have this conversation.
Exactly.
We can have a conversation about it because I believe strongly in my own faith.
I'm not a wounded theist at all. I'm just an anti-theist. I've been an anti-theist since the day I was born. I've been in and out of churches, with very positive experiences.
It's your own conclusion that you came to, and I respect that. I don't agree with it. It's kind of like
no. Saying somebody is a wounded theist is not the same as an anti-theist, because saying that everything comes from a negative experience, and that's why I'm an anti-theist. That is what saying a wounded theist is. That's not the truth. I've just never simply believed in any kind of religion, even as a child.
Like, I don't like
I-
loud noises.
No, I just never believed
Never
in
had a
them.
negative experience associated with loud noise. I just don't fucking like them.
Okay.
Sorry, that's where my mind went. That was the first thing I could think of.
Yeah.
This is that one guy you know, right?
No. This is LW Sap.
Oh, okay.
This is not Sean.
Okay.
Sean is the one who called in. the last
Okay,
time.
all right. It's there's so many people that you do know that listen in. That
Yeah.
That do forget.
I got coworkers listening too.
I have. The act of unbelief is considered a straight neutral. I would say that the inaction. I can see that where inaction
could,
is
yes.
is to be sitting on the fence. You are not opposed or for anything, but she is definitely opposed.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
I am completely opposed against all religion, but
And
that
government.
and government, but that does not mean
Now-
that just because somebody has a views
That's
that
the
I
thing.
need to treat them
Me and
poorly.
you agree quite a bit on government. Like, you're more extreme on your views of government than I am. I believe that the government was created to maintain relations with other nations, and that's it. They weren't created to maintain relations or take care of other people. The church's job, as a form of government, because it is a form of government,
Oh, it
was
absolutely
to
is.
was to take care of the wounded, the sick, the children, the widows. There was a reason behind it, which is why I have such an issue with churches not helping,
The church
because it goes
ultimately-
against its own teachings.
The church ultimately was founded, basically to give someone a sense of hope.
Yes, and they have lost that. They have
Absolutely, they have become
lost their way.
fucking money pits.
They're the
That's-
puppy lost in the fucking forest.
And
Okay.
like I said, I should point out, having said that I'm not an atheist at all. I'm actually Catholic. I'm like the world's shittiest Catholic, but I am a Catholic.
It doesn't help that he's married to such a bad influence,
There's-
such as myself.
I've been married to
I
worse
do
influences.
believe, yeah, you have. I do truly believe that our opposing views on a
Mhm.
lot of topics and our respect for each other is really what gives us a good dynamic to discuss hard topics, because that's ultimately what I wanted. I wanted to have someone to do this with that I would be able to discuss a hard topic with and it not devolve into shouting.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that with Steve at all.
Oh God, I can just picture that in my head now.
No.
That'd be great.
Like,
Yelling "fuck yous" in obscenity 5 minutes in.
Like, there's some people, like, if you escalate the situation, I'll try to, de-escalate. Okay, so here's an analogy. I don't
LW
believe in
Sap says
unicorns. Now, I don't bother myself with thinking about it or arguing for or against it. Would I be in such an opposition and preach against unicorns if I didn't believe in them foundationally? Now, I don't believe that she's preaching against them because she believes in God. I think she's preaching against them, or rather believes that they shouldn't be because of teachings the church has and how they push down certain people.
Okay, so my belief on religions, and that is an umbrella term encompassing all religions that has ever been known to mankind, and people have practiced, the thousands upon thousands of religions that are available, cults, witchcraft, all of that. I'm going to put under this umbrella and carry it downstream. It is systematically oppressing humans and teaching them a toxic ideology that if somebody is not with you, then they're against you. And that is just simply not the truth. If you don't believe in this, you are condemned to something. If you don't believe in these gods or this god or this god, then you need to kill all of those who are not like-minded.
Hold on. Now, she never said that she didn't respect your opinion. That's
Yeah.
not at all. She does respect your opinion and your ability to believe, but she also has her own viewpoint, and that's her view. She just doesn't care for it. I've watched her listen to people who are handing out pamphlets politely and excuse herself politely. She doesn't yell at them. She doesn't tell them that they're wrong.
I
She
will
just
never
moves on.
speak
Well,
against anyone and
never
tell them
once.
that they're wrong, That is just my own personal viewpoint. I just because they disagree with me does not mean that I need to condemn them. They have their own experiences and they are just as valid as my own.
Right. Well, it's like the word Sonder, which is derived from it is a Swedish word, or German. It's one of the two. It means that, everybody's life is just as complicated as your own. And it has just as many ups and downs and twists and turns. And it's not always the same, but it is just as complicated.
Exactly.
And you have your own beliefs, just like someone else has their own beliefs. You don't disparage them for having that belief, but you believe in your own way that they believe in something that you don't believe in. You don't tell them, hey, this is wrong. You should, not believe in that. God is false and whatever. You don't say that in a malicious way. You just say, look, I believe. And then you state your belief. Because it is your opinion.
You can be an anti-theist or atheist and still be respectful to each other's personal needs and personal goals.
Yeah, you can be completely against something and still have tact.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's what the real thing is. Like, you have tact.
Most people, in my experience, most people view atheist or anti-theist as, screaming vegans of sorts.
Okay, but that's when you say feminism. I see some lady with blue hair screaming, "Put them in zoos."
Yeah, holding a vagina. Yeah, that's what I see too. But that
you see the one stuff yarn ball up her vagina while she was on her period.
But I saw one that stuffed a whole chicken up there.
Yeah, no, you can be in opposition to something while still remaining respectful. It's just choosing not to have those beliefs as your own, and while systematically trying to change things for the better.
Benjamin Franklin was an outspoken atheist, but when the Congress bowed their head in prayer, he still respected them and did likewise.
Exactly.
He respected their opinion, and they respected his. Okay.
Actually, I didn't know that.
Really? Yes. Yeah,
well, I know this nation was not founded on a religion. It was founded. It was founded on the freedom against religion.
It was founded on the freedom of religious repression.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was, you can believe what you want, you can love what you want, you can have what you want, as long as you work for it and you grasp it.
Yeah. And you don't try to oppress somebody else while doing it.
You can have your own. Well, eventually it came to pass. But, let's put that out there. Eventually that did come to pass. But the whole basis behind this country was you have the freedom to believe what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I'm free to believe that the great spaghetti god will take me into its warm, loving, tomatoey embrace. And
all hell Alfredo.
Yeah. But, see, that's it. There's actually the great spaghetti god or whatever. There's a religion for that. There's people who believe in all kinds of different things. I'm not going to disparage their beliefs because that's their beliefs. That's their true beliefs. And I respect that. They came to that conclusion. I'm not saying they're right or wrong.
No.
I disagree with it.
Yeah.
But
even if you disagree, you can still work with that person to find a happy median. To find, what works for you and how you can become, change somebody or help change yourself to have a better viewpoint and grasp things better.
Mm-hmm. It's just about respecting other people's opinions.
Exactly.
Very much so. I mean, ultimately, and I, if you didn't have the respect for that, ultimately, you and I would not be married.
Yeah.
There would have been no way. We would have fought like cats and dogs.
No, I choose not to fight with anyone.
Well, yeah.
I say my piece. I there are times when I want to yell, but if I'm really bothered about something, I will go quiet and then I will think on it. And then if you ask me what's wrong, I will deny anything until I have processed it fully. And then I will bring the topic to you and then I will discuss it.
Better way to handle that. Tell them that you're processing and then you'll get back to them later.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, like, if you say nothing's wrong.
Hold on. There is Silver Mike. A religious person goes to church and thinks about fishing. A spiritual person goes fishing and thinks about God. I would rather be spiritual.
Right. Oh, my big thing, and even being Catholic, my big thing is I don't have to go to church. I know where my belief system is.
We all three have opposing views. I was raised Church of Christ, or raised Catholic. Went to Church of Christ.
I've been to a Mormon
Baptist.
church.
I've never been to a Mormon
Oh,
church. I've been to a
Well, that's
Pentecostal
because you
church.
kept trying to, bang all those Mormon girls because you wanted
wasn't
like the
trying
17
to.
wives.
I did, and then we won't get into that.
So my husband a while back before me, I actually had to tell a few of them to F off. He went to a Mormon
You've never heard
church,
this story, have you?
converted to Church
Oh,
of
yeah,
Mormon.
I was baptized Mormon, and then when I got baptized, they all quit fucking me.
Yeah. Like no joke. So he switched over to Mormon because he wanted like those like the sister wife shit.
As
You've
a
never heard
man,
that story, have you?
I have not. As a man, I applaud you.
And
As a human being,
when
that's
we first
disgusting.
when we first started dating, I answered to a few of those calls, and I'm just like, fuck off.
Oh yeah, they'd come to the missionaries would come over and shit. There's a lot of rules that they have. They're not allowed coffee. They're not allowed caffeine, video games, newspapers.
Yeah.
I actually gave the 2 missionaries that would come over. I gave them each a Game Boy so they could play Pokemon. They kept them.
I bet they did.
I mean, they were 16, 17-year-old kids.
It does require a lot more faith than most any.
I see.
religion.
My atheism isn't founded on blind faith, though. My atheism comes
I
from
think all faith is
proof
blind
and
faith.
scientific proof. I only can believe in or
What's that?
hold on. Oh, hey, we're done.
All right, so guys, we're gonna have to call it.
Yeah,
We are going to be ending in 2 minutes.
yeah. So
Y'all have fun.
all right. So, anyways, like I was
We're gonna
saying,
have to
really,
pick up
really
this
quickly.
topic
Yeah, really
Another
quickly.
day.
My atheism is founded in scientific proof. I can only believe in what can
God,
be
there's so
proven.
much to say on this.
There
I understand
is.
where you're coming from. Yeah, because there's no proof
Like
that
religion-
God exists. There's no proof that He doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's pick this back up in another one.
I believe in science first
All right.
and
Y'all
foremost.
have fun.
All
Be
right,
safe.
we love you guys, and remember to like, share, and comment. And go ahead and like us on Facebook at us at Morning Coffee with Floy with Just FK. Morning Coffee with Just FK.
There you go. You got
Yeah,
it. Good
got
job.
it.
All right, y'all have
And
fun.
we will see you next Tuesday. We love you all. Have a good one.